ఇంకా 10 minutes అలా ఉందనుకుంటాను. సో అప్పటి వరకు వెయిట్ చేద్దాం. ఇప్పటి వరకు మ్యూజిక్ ఏం పోతుంది.
Welcome, everybody, to the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship 2021. I'm your host, Infinity, and we have an awesome day of Call of Duty ahead of us. Today's matches are all going to be from stage number 4. It's time for the Latin America regional playoffs, but I won't be alone on the casting desk today. Not at all. I'll be joined by my good Canadian friend, Austin Visions. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic, Brody, man. I love COD Mobile. I got to cast it a few weeks ago. They're always a great time. It's always action past the chaos. I'm here for it, Brody. It's going to be a fantastic day.
Indeed, it will. And to give you guys an idea of what the day looks like ahead of us, let's jump straight into it by talking about the schedule. These are the matches ahead of us for today. We're going to be kicking things off with Full House Gaming versus Influence Rage at 11 a.m. EST, followed up by Cygnus Esports and RWR. Those are the two matches we're going to be kind of going back and forth between for the first hour or so. Then we'll have Loops Esports versus Godsend and Skade versus Operation 34.
వర్సెస్ ఫుల్ హౌస్
Then
గేమింగ్
once
అంట.
the quarterfinals are
సో
done, we're moving
ఈ
on to the
దీనికి ముందు వచ్చేటప్పుడు ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేట్స్ ఓకే. సో Cygnus Esports was the champion of the round. Cygnus Esports దీని ముందు జరిగిన రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ 16లో, లైక్ స్టేజ్ 3 రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ 16లో, రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ 16 అంటే 256 మెంబర్స్ సెలెక్ట్ అవుతారు కదా. 256 మెంబర్స్ సెలెక్ట్ అయిన తర్వాత ఫస్ట్ 256 మెంబర్స్కి బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 3 జరిగింది. సో లైక్ బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 3
Yeah, absolutely does look like a gnarly bracket, doesn't it? I'm very excited to see what these teams are able to bring to the table. You kind of touched upon it there, Austin, but these teams are fighting for 3 spots available in the World Championships here, and of course, some prizing on the line as well. Let's take a look at that prize pool then.
సో ఫస్ట్ 56 టీమ్స్కి బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 3 జరిగిన తర్వాత బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 3 డబుల్ ఎలిమినేషన్, సేమ్ పొద్దున జపాన్కి ఎలా జరిగిందో ఇప్పుడు రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ 8 ఎలా జరుగుతుందో అలాగే 256 టీమ్స్కి జరిగిందనమాట. సో దాంట్లో నుంచి టాప్ 16 టీమ్స్ ఆల్ దీని ముందు జరిగిన రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ 16లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తాయి. అది కూడా బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5 డబుల్ ఎలిమినేషన్. బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5 డబుల్ ఎలిమినేషన్లో ఫస్ట్ ఛాంపియన్స్ ఎవరంటే Cygnus, సెకండ్ ఎవరంటే Skade. ఐ థింక్ థర్డ్ ఇస్ let me check, okay? నెంబర్ది నాకు మొత్తం లిస్ట్ గుర్తులేదు, ఒకసారి చెక్ చేద్దాం.
Let's take a look at this beauty for you guys at home. It is a gorgeous phone.
Third in the sense, third అంటే winners bracket finalist, losers bracket ఫైనల్స్ అయిన తర్వాత గ్రాండ్ ఫైనల్ జరుగుతుంది కదా. దానిలో ఫస్ట్ Cygnus, సెకండ్ Skade, ఆ రెండిట్లో ఓడిపోయింది లూప్స్. సో లూప్స్ దాని తర్వాత గాడ్స్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ గాడ్స్ అంటే దాని ముందు రౌండ్లో ఎలిమినేట్ అయ్యేది. దాని ముందు జరిగిన వాటిలో ఈ ఆర్డబ్ల్యూఆర్ స్పోర్ట్స్ ఇంకో టీం వచ్చింది కదా, ఆపరేషన్ 34. సో వాళ్ళిద్దరూ ఆడారు అనమాట. సో ఇప్పుడు ఫుల్ హౌస్ వర్సెస్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఈ బ్రాకెట్లో ఫస్ట్వి. నెక్స్ట్ ఆర్డబ్ల్యూఆర్ గేమింగ్ వర్సెస్ పేరేంటి Cygnus ఉంది కదా, Cygnus ది ఛాంపియన్స్, వాళ్ళిద్దరికి జరిగేది. దాని తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ విన్నర్స్ బ్రాకెట్ ఫైనల్ అనమాట. ఇంకా ఇంట్రోలోనే ఉన్నాము, ఇంకా ఎంత టైం ఉందో చూడాలి. మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ మార్నింగ్ ఒక 10 minutes 15 minutes అండ్ 10 minutes అలా ఇంట్రో జరిగినట్టు. సో ఈలోపు మన స్ట్రీమ్లో కూడా కాస్త జనాలు వస్తే వీ హ్యావ్ సమ్ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్.
Xperia 1 Mark III, the best way to play Call of Duty Mobile. Right, let's get into our games then for today. We'll kick things off by talking about the first match, which is Full House Gaming versus Influence Rage. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, actually, isn't it, Austin? Because Influence Rage is probably the most notable team here, if only because there was a different variation of the roster last year that were able to actually win the 2020 Latin America Regional Championship. So that's kind of sets the stakes here for roster. But unfortunately, when it came to the qualifier, they actually only managed to grab the 6th seed.
Right. I mean, fell a little bit short. They won a couple of rounds up in that upper bracket, but once they got to those lower bracket matches, it really just kind of hit a wall for them, and they were unable to keep things going. And I mean, that's what happens sometimes in those lower bracket matches. But I mean, there's high expectations for a team that's obviously already went towards a Worlds throughout the last year. You're really under the expectation, I feel like, for a lot of the fans here in this region that they might be able to do it again. But a couple of roster swaps come through, a couple of new teams being formed here, Brody, and obviously that road has not become as easy here for them.
Yeah, absolutely, it hasn't. And while we're waiting for the first match to get underway, or while we're waiting for the map set to be shown to everybody at home, why don't we talk very quickly about sort of how different Call of Duty Mobile is? Because you and
Sure.
I, we've casted a ton of Call of Duty Modern Warfare,
Sure
Call of
have.
Duty Black Ops Cold War. Mobile is the one, though, that I've always wanted to get right into because it is an awesome amalgamation of everything that is great about Call of Duty.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I love the most about this is, it's like the perfect in between of what we got in 5v5 throughout Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare, compared to like 4v4 throughout this year in Black Ops or Cold War. So I really love the in between where it's like, okay, we're jumping into 5v5. It's very fast paced, and the games are pretty short, right? For anyone that does not know, 150 points for hardpoint. It's a very shorter game. Sometimes things end on the very first rotation, but I think the biggest factor that we're really going to be highlighting throughout the entire day is the specialists and the streaks. I've seen it one too many times where teams just are able to get themselves a really nice build up. They chain a couple hills together. The streaks start raining from above. We start seeing, the death machine come on out here for ourselves. The grab spike, everything along these lines that's going to be able to break hard points, hold hard points. It can be really difficult for teams to bounce back into the game. Now, if we see teams throw away their specialists and their streaks and don't use them very well, then that's maybe your window. But I think the key is making sure things do not get out of hand too fast when we start off a lot of these respawn games.
Yeah, and there is quite a lot different here. Again, with 5 versus 5, the pace of the
Sure.
game is completely quickened up. And
Very
as you
quick.
said already, the scores are very different, especially when it comes to hardpoint. 150 points shaved off the
Yeah.
total you need to get a victory. That's going to make these games go super quick. But there definitely is some similarities as well. I've already kind of mentioned the fact that this is an amalgamation of everything that we love about Call of Duty. And a big reason
Right.
for that is the fact that we have so many weapons, so many maps that have been lifted from the greatest of Call of Duty games. And to show you guys sort of what the map set for the first series of the day looks like here, you guys are already going to get to see some of those maps from the best Call of Duties ever. I know a fan favorite, Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019, Hackney Yard Hardpoint will be kicking us off in the series. Then Summit Search and Destroy lifted from Black Ops 1. Raid Domination, I'm sure yours and ours favorite map of all time. Austin, all the way from Black Ops 2, Fire and Range Hardpoint, and map number 4, and Standoff Search and Destroy if we go the distance in this series. A relatively varied map set here, Austin.
That's right. Yeah, different map here for just about every single game mode coming on through. So I really like the variety that's coming through. Now, just to kind of dive into the map number 1, Hackney Yard, we know it as Chaos. And actually, we did get to cast a lot of it when it was 5v5 in the regular Call of Duty season for Modern Warfare. So when I've casted over Hackney Yard Hardpoint, it's very similar. A lot of the same things are pretty much going to take place where you're looking to try and lock down a P2 spawn, make sure you're coming out with, a good 45, 50 points if you are controlling that close spawn, because it's just as difficult to break on through with it, especially early when you don't really have a whole lot of specialists maybe to break that open for yourself. And when you talk about, only going to 150 points, you chain 1 and 2 together. I mean, that puts you sometimes close to about 100 points for yourself going in towards the future rotation. So
ఇంకెవరు
this
స్ట్రీమ్
map
లో
here
జాయిన్
feels like it
అయినట్టు
could be
ఒకవేళ
very
ఎవరైనా
small
ఆల్రెడీ
in a
జాయిన్
lot
అయ్యి
of
ఉండి
ways,
నాకు
and it really is on the
కనిపించకపోతే
team that's going to be on the
నాకు
bad
కామెంట్
side to
పెట్టండి
come out here and have a really strong P1
నాకు
to make sure
తెలుస్తుంది
things
మీరు
are
వచ్చారని
not snowballing out of control.
I think that's the key thing here, actually, and I guess we'll talk very deeply about map number 1 in just a sec. Well, I guess now's the time, right, to talk about map number 1 and what we kind of expect out of Hackney Yard Hardpoint. I think that is the key thing here, if anything, is you kind of touched upon it there, that there is actually a bad side, I'll use air quotes, there is a bad side beyond this map when you spawn in, right? And if you do come on that bad side, you may well lose those first 2 hard points, 120 points, if that team that spawns on the, again, good side in air quotes, if they spawn there, if they're able to chain those 2 hills back to back perfectly. I mean, we've already talked about the fact that you have a shorter score here. 150
Right.
points is the line you need to reach. That puts that team at a massive advantage. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. I actually can't wait to see how this one turns out, of course. And I think the other thing here is, we've talked about our experience in casting Call of Duty Modern Warfare for an entire year, so we kind of know how this map plays. But I think, the pace of mobile will make this very different and very interesting, at least from that point of view.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, as we look kind of, in towards the other game modes too, it's also really fun. The fact that we got snipers, Brody. We got snipers, we got smokes that are coming out here for us as well. And sometimes you even see off the start of these respawns, maybe not so much on Hackney Yard, but on some of the bigger maps, you do see a sniper player come out off the start and see if you can maybe pick off a couple of players. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Worst case, you switch over on death and you go back towards, a regular submachine gun or whatever it might be. So I really do like some of the change ups and some of the mix ups that we do tend to get here. And because it's really our first time looking at this region, maybe we are going to get something a little bit special that comes out and towards some of these maps, whether that do be the meta, whether that is going to be simply just a little bit of a different strategy that could play out here for us. I think that's really one of the great looks of being able to look at, all right, this is the playoffs here, who's going to be able to make it to the actual world championship. You got to get top 3, the pressure's on. When are you going to bring out some of these strategies? That's what we're going to be looking at and really trying to highlight for you guys here watching throughout the entire day, because we're kind of left with a couple of question marks too here, Brody. We're looking at these guys for the first time, and this will just be one of those first good looks at what they bring to the table and how they're going to be able to perform on the stage.
Yeah, for sure, right? And again, especially with a varied map set, I think that's also another interesting thing that isn't talked about enough when it comes to Call of Duty Mobile. When we talk about, Call of Duty competitive esports, your game that releases every year, for example, we'll have Vanguard later this year. We have this set map mode combination where we have these maps and they are only for specific modes. Every single map here in the map set can be used for hardpoint search and destroy or domination, which creates some crazy, I guess, combinations that can come out later down the line. So I'm very particularly excited for like raid domination. I don't know why, because the B flag in the middle of the map is just going to be insane. Like, I can't wait to see the fights there on that. But generally speaking, I think this is going to be a great day of Call of Duty Mobile ahead of us again. And as you already said here, Austin, there is quite a lot on the line. Not only that $50,000 prize pool, but those 3 spots for the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship.
Oh yeah,
that's what these guys are really going to be fighting to.
Three teams qualify out there, only one కాదు. Japan, though it was like still 8 teams, only ఒక team qualify అవుతుంది. Because Japan country, right?
Yeah, it's like, all right, can we get through this tournament that's for $50,000, which is also a massive chunk of money, but that is really, kind of just peanuts when you think of the fact that there's $2 million on the line. But you have to take it one step at a time. You have to take it one map at a time here, and hopefully that's what a lot of these teams are really trying to dive into as we get in towards our very first series on the day overall. So that'll be what we're looking at now as we kind of go through the rest of the maps for us too. I think really one of the big ones, as you mentioned, is going to be the swing map that tends to come out here for us, of course, in the raid domination. On top of that, the firing range should be fun because it's really explosive maps, right? It's a lot of trying to be able to fix things on the fly, pick things up whenever you possibly can. So we'll see how that ends up playing out for us. But it looks like we are now ready to go here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hackney Yard
coming up first for us. Already the early battles coming on out in Full House Gaming. They're going to be able to come first point, but responding right back.
మనం ఏషియాలోనూ ఇక్కడ చూసింది ఏంటంటే డామినేషన్ ఎక్కువ జరుగుతుంది Hackney Yard లో.
On that right side of the minimap, that's where you're going to see Influence Ray try to hold on. But look at this start here from Gohan. 3 kills already, looking to earn that Hunter Killer drone, and that is going to be a deadly score streak if you can get it going.
It sure can be. And well, you're going to see this Bison quite a bit today. It's nice at medium range and sometimes even pretty decent up close. And so far, a couple of trades still going back, but this is where you have to start looking at, all right, are we going to be able to control spawns for P2? That's kind of one of the big factors for us. And it is a battle in the back right now. We'll see if Grozen's going to be able to find anything. He is unable to do so. So this is going to be really nicely done here for Full House Gaming, at least being able to get a couple players back. But now they have some big gunfights, and already the streaks, we mentioned it, Brody, sometimes they come out quick, and Gohan's going to be able to find it, and now the flip does in fact come through.
Yeah, that was a massive streak as well for Gohan. I think, we talk about streak usage, it's very important. You need to make sure you do it at the right time. Gohan uses that
కొంచెం distract అయ్యాను.
to make sure he gets
Go back to the game. So Holger,
now for Influence Rage.
మనం నిన్నటి నుంచి చూస్తున్నాము హోల్గర్ హోల్గర్ కానీ ఏదైనా ఎల్ఎంజీ ఆర్ స్నైపర్ ఒక మంచి గన్గా మంచి గన్ అని చెప్పచ్చు ఈ హ్యాక్నీ యాడ్ యాప్లో. ఎందుకంటే హ్యాక్నీ యాడ్ ఈజ్ మోస్ట్లీ లైక్ పెద్ద మ్యాప్, మరీ చిన్నది కాదు, అలాగే మరీ పెద్దది అని కాదు. సో అది పెద్దది కాదంటే ఉన్న మ్యాచ్లో పెద్దది. బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఆర్ గోయింగ్ ఆ ఒక్క స్పాట్లో కూర్చొని స్ప్రే చేయగలిగితే హ్యాక్నీ యాడ్లో కొంచెం బెటర్ స్ట్రాటజీ అనమాట. సో ఆ స్ప్రే ఎవరైతే చేయగలుగుతారో ఆ పాయింట్ తీసుకుని వాళ్ళు కొంచెం ఇది మనం పొద్దున్న నుంచి చూసింది ఏంటంటే ఆ కంటైనర్ పైన కూర్చొని కానీ ఎక్కడంటే మనం ఈ ఫస్ట్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్ ఎంటర్ అయ్యే రూమ్ ఉంటుంది కదా మధ్యలో వేర్ హౌస్, ఆ వేర్ హౌస్ బయట ఉన్న ఫస్ట్ కంటైనర్స్ ఇప్పుడు ఇందాక ఈ స్పాట్ కానీ ఇందాక మనం చూసిన కంటైనర్ స్పాట్ కానీ లేదు ఈ పైనుంచి కానీ మనకి చూసి ఆ స్ప్రే చేయడానికి ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. మెటా ఇంకా నడుస్తున్నట్టే ఉంది. వీళ్ళ మెటా కూడా మోస్ట్లీ CODM ఆడే గ్లోబల్ ఆడే అన్ని టీమ్స్కి ఇదే మెటా ఉంటుంది. హోల్ గ్యాస్ బైనాన్స్ మార్నింగ్ ఫెనెక్ చూసాను బాగా యూస్ చేయడం జపాన్లో. ఇక్కడ కూడా ఇంచుమించు అలాగే జరుగుతుంది.
Slaying how many times he just found himself on an incredible kill streak. I mean, he is going ham at the moment, still looking to try and keep this time going. Another grab spike's going to be picked up, and now this is that moment where we're starting to see the specialists come into play. The death machine is now going to be unleashed as we move in towards B4.
This is huge from Trixon if he can get some more kills here with this Death Machine, and trust me, it is pretty easy to get kills with this Death Machine. It is a beast of a specialist. He will continue on. Now GDS has a streak or a specialist of his own. He will get taken down. So that's good news, I think, for Influence Rage, as they do with both Death Machines now. And now for Tito, how much damage can you do? Only one kill, Gohan. Now the next player out with his Death Machine. It's Death Machine galore, but now a Gravik Spike coming through from King. Bigadera able to pick up two trades galore, but it will be Full House coming out on top for the moment. And now for the dual pistols from Bigadera.
Influence Rage last year stage 4 champions అనుకుంటా.
Was absolutely beautifully used, and it comes up with I think about 4 kills total in that point. And I mean, Full House Gaming.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ మ్యాచ్ మనం చూస్తే
they built themselves up about a 50-point lead. The scrap time that
చాలా లీడ్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయారు. బట్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్ ఎప్పుడైనా సరే మనం చెప్పలేం. ఒక్క హార్డ్ పాయింట్ ఫుల్ కంట్రోల్ వస్తే చాలా పాయింట్స్ వచ్చేస్తాయి ఒకేసారి.
So this is now going to open up the lane. Can they try and break through? The sentry turret looks to get dropped down, but it's going to be Crozen having to play his life inside of yellow. A very difficult job to do at the moment, as you can just see the swarm coming around him, but he's doing a very good job of playing his life. Finally will be dealt with, and now the spawns are getting very crazy. Full House Gaming, they had to close spawns, and they could still end it on this hill here, Brody.
Yep, you got to get it here. If you're Influence Rage, you have to get in. There's 20 points left before Full House are able to get the win, and that is just one wave of kills. King trying to make his way in. Crozen able to pick up one. There are still trades in favor of Full House, though. There is just one more player you realistically need to take out. The Predator missile is in from GDS. Full House Gaming, though, they can't seem to remove these players from the hard point. Influence Rage are now in.
All right, Crozen, he's got a really important role to play at the moment.
మంచి ట్రబుల్ అనిపిస్తుంది. సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఓన్లీ 5 పాయింట్స్ లెఫ్ట్. కంటెస్ట్ అయితే చేస్తున్నారు, బట్ చూడాలి తీసుకోగలుగుతారని. Just 11 seconds, so they are just
time, or they can make a rotation. It looks like they called to hit it. The gunfight doesn't come through. Go on, just playing his life.
So Influence Rage ఒక్క చిన్న అడ్వాంటేజ్, సారీ ఫుల్ హౌస్ ఒక్క చిన్న అడ్వాంటేజ్ కూడా వదలాలనుకోవట్లేదు. బాగా ఎస్, ఆ కామెంటేటర్ చెప్పినట్టు ఫైట్ ఫర్ సర్వైవల్ అంటే. సో ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ ఇంకా రాలేదు. ఇంకా ఆ ఒక్క 4 పాయింట్స్ 1 సెకండ్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్ టైం మాత్రం వచ్చింది వాళ్ళకి ఈ పాయింట్లో. సో ఈ 46 సెకండ్స్లో ఎంత టైం, చాలా ఎక్కువ టైం తీసుకుంటేనే వాళ్ళు గెలుస్తారు. ఆ 1 సెకండ్ వస్తుంది అండ్ 150, దట్ ఇస్ ఇట్. సో ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ గోస్ టు ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ ఎవరు గెలిచారు భయ్యా? Full House with 150 some 60 odd points to Influence Rage. Nice solid start అని చెప్పాలి వాళ్ళకి. Full House Gaming ki, so Full House Gaming will still wait and see. Influence Rage ki anta slow start రావడం చాలా రేర్, సో చూద్దాం.
I mean, a
But
huge
anyway,
shout out to the beginning of that where the Predator missile came through right away. That kill streak really securing them spawns there, Brody. We talk about P2 really being, that factor in that hill that's really going to change up the game here for you. That's what ends up happening at P2. They get themselves a nice hold, they get themselves a nice lead, and they carry it out to be able to lock in this very first map in the best of 5.
Crazy map number 1 there from Full House. They used their specialist perfection as well. I think the death machine impression there in P4. Really well done, I think, on the whole there from that team from Full House. They can series off 1-0. However, I believe that's not the only series we have going on right now. We have a second one going on simultaneously. Of course, 4 matches over in the winners bracket 4.
So second match కూడా simultaneously జరుగుతుందండి. Yeah, Singers versus.
Now, if we can take a look at the map set for this series, I'm sure we can show everybody at home kind of what this one looks like.
RWR. So నేను అదే ఫస్ట్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది అనుకుంటున్నాను.
Standoff Hardpoint, Raid S&D, Takeoff Domination, Summit
Standoff.
Hardpoint, and Firing Range S&D, at least on me. But yeah, so just ignore your eyes at the moment. There you go. Now you can see it. I was misreading it anyway.
So standoff hardpoint starting.
Between these two teams. I'm very excited.
Cygnus versus RWR.
Yeah, that's
అది ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్.
as well. I mean, we brought up the fact that
మనం దానికోసం వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నాము ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందో. అది కూడా ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ మ్యాచ్. RWR నాకు తెలిసి 8th సీడ్ అవ్వచ్చు ఈ కాంటెస్ట్ లో. సో Cygnus esports
and we got to see a lot of different strategies implemented.
is the first seed. Last ఇంతకు ముందు జరిగిన స్టేజ్ 3 రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ 16 లో Cygnus esports champions.
Putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to try and find, X amount of offensive rounds or defensive rounds in a row. So adaptation could feel like it's a little bit more difficult to do because sometimes you get shut down round after round and you're not really sure how to respond. So you're just hoping to be able to do the same thing once you're flipping sides and you're going over towards offense or defense. But that's really one of the big, change-ups for as far as, coming in towards S&D and COD Mobile. But it's always explosive. It's always fun. And the big factors are the scopes. We got to keep highlighting that, Brody, because they're just so fun and we didn't get to watch them really the entire year.
Yep, and here's the reflection, I guess, of that map number 1 score. Full House Gaming 150 to 75 over Influence Rage, and we were hyping up Influence Rage. I guess I was, in a way, right? Because it's like, they won the Latin America finals last year, albeit with an ever so slightly different roster. So for them to kind of lose in that manner in map number 1, doubling the score, if you will, really does show just how out of control Hardpoint can get to kick things off. We do have some stats as well from that first series. I actually managed to grab some. So Bigadira finishes 23-16 off the back of that one. The MVP for Full House Gaming. We'll definitely keep an eye on him going forward. But here is map number 2 between Influence Rage and Full House Gaming. We're getting right into Summit Search and Destroy.
Yeah, looks like we've already lost a couple of members here for Full House Gaming as well. So
okay, so Full House Gaming versus LATAM.
We'll see really what the plan is going to be.
Oh, okay, Full House versus Influence Rage first match, second match, S&D Summit.
Really all about this A site. Getting the bomb down at B felt like it was extremely difficult. It's kind of, pushing through the spawn to get to there, but you can really just fly out of this doorway that we're currently watching on screen right now to be able to get an A, and they do have some pressure along the path, so there is options here, but on top of that, Slayan, he's in a pretty nice position, and he might be able to find a kill. Shots come through, but can't clean up the elimination just yet.
He gets away, though. I think that's the important thing here for Salen, is that he actually does manage to get away. Keeps his life in this one. Shots going down. Crozen will actually snipe Salen out. And I was kind of gassing him up for staying alive. It didn't last all that long, though, as Influence Rage now definitely have the numbers of 4 versus 2. GDS able to pick up 2 frags. And now Full House Gaming with this 2 versus 3. Still got to get this bomb down. Just 35 seconds on the clock.
35 seconds. A 2 versus 3. A good job being able to bring this one back. A couple of shots through the smoke. Find its mark.
So,
you do have to try and still get
so
the
first
down.
round,
Finally,
3v2, 2v3, Full House. ఈ ఫస్ట్ లో 3 now ఇప్పుడు అది 2v2.
That evens up the odds. 2v2 we go.
GDS trying it. It's going to be Trixon with a nice snipe on a Dato. And this has quickly turned this round on its head. It's just King. 1 versus 1 now. He's able to take out Trixon.
So, Influence Rage.
15 more seconds. And he's got the position to do this. This is perfect. King
Okay.
looks for the shots against GDS. GDS gets away though. But King surely has time on his side. If you're King, you just try and survive.
9 seconds. You have to survive for 7, 6.
Not able to get the frag, but the
Yeah.
done. King gets the kill and the round to them. And it was a massive round for GDS, but unfortunately,
ఇదే లాస్ట్ మూమెంట్ వరకు సర్వైవ్ అవ్వాలి.
not enough. I mean,
చూసాను.
did get a little
హలో
intense
కిట్టు
there
బ్రో.
if you're looking at
అవును
it.
బ్రో,
So it
తెలుగు
was
కామెంటరీ
definitely
తెలుగులో
a
మాట్లాడుతున్నాను.
right off the bat. I mean,
కామెంటరీ కాదు, మనం
that
అందరం
GDS
చూద్దాం,
comes away
కలిసి
with
చూడొచ్చు
three,
కదా
it
అన్నట్టు.
almost brings that
అంతే.
back from a 3
So,
versus 5 is
మీరేమన్నా
exceptional in itself, but you still have to
మీరేమన్నా
get
మాట్లాడాలనుకుంటే
something going
కామెంట్
into
చేయండి.
the
సో
round.
సో నేను రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వగలుగుతాను, మనం ఇంటరాక్ట్
Now
అవ్వగలుగుతాం.
looking and searching for some
So అంతే.
information, a very passive setup, and I do
సో
like this here from
ఫస్ట్
Full House
రౌండ్
Gaming, just looking at
ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్
some
రేజ్
of these picks could
లాస్ట్
come in
మూమెంట్లో
for
క్లాస్
Trixon.
అంతా
He's
తీసుకున్నారు.
gonna shut the door on
nice.
Frozen.
But-
He'll find the first blood, and
So,
that's gonna eliminate here one of the snipers for the side of Influence
మంచి
Rage.
మనం ఇది చూస్తే జనరల్లీ మన గేమ్ టాక్టిక్స్ కూడా ఇంప్రూవ్ అవుతాయి బాగా.
and this is just so
ఏ
tough.
ప్లేసెస్లో కూర్చోవచ్చు, ఎక్కడి నుంచి స్నైప్ చేయడం, స్నైప్ పాయింట్స్ అయితే బెటర్గా ఉంటాయి, ఎక్కడ పీక్ చేయకూడదు అని కూడా తెలుసుకోవచ్చు. సో ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఫస్ట్లోనే ఇద్దరిని పోగొట్టుకుంది. సో we can so wait, so two kills on the trot. It's even out అయిపోయింది ఇప్పుడు.
3 versus 3. I mean,
So,
Trixon's
చూద్దాం
gotta be a little frustrated with this, right?
ఇలా జరుగుతుంది ఈ రౌండ్ అని.
Picks coming in, just
ఓ
massive
3v3
infield defense, and
in between.
feels like they're getting too aggressive, but in the back, I mean, there is a flank coming out here for us, and
ఇప్పుడు ఇది
it's a matter of
3v3.
will this pay off or not?
It's still going, so
That looks like it's going to be a spot out. So the shot's gonna come through. Ditto
nothing,
finds the kill.
so
Now
suddenly
we go
gets
into a
one
3
more
versus
kill.
2. 30 seconds left. They gotta get the defuse.
Okay,
That will
they've
be the bomb going down.
బాంబ్ ప్లాంట్ చేశారు. 42 seconds డిఫెండ్ చేయాలి. Okay, 1v2.
Now has to pull off a 1 versus 3. There's no way. Okay.
Wait.
Data gets away.
somehow not able to see these ones. కొంచెం నేను దీని క్వాలిటీ సెట్ చేస్తాను.
Okay, now what does he do with it? Oh, that's a nice.
సారీ. ఓకే, కొంచెం బఫర్ అవుతుంది, క్వాలిటీ కొంచెం తక్కువ ఉందని నేనే పెంచాను.
Does he do with it? Oh, that's a nice quick soap.
అదే విధంగా. సో ఆ లాస్ట్ కిల్ మనం మిస్ అయ్యాం
A 1 versus
because of
1.
the
He
buffer.
has to get this defuse as well. Goes for the snipe.
ఓకే,
There
బట్
it is.
మరీ స్లో అవుతుంది. సో లెట్స్ సీ ఇఫ్ దిస్ వర్క్స్. తర్వాత కొంచెం నా ఇంటర్నెట్ మ్యాక్సిమైజ్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తా.
Oh my
లైక్ లెట్
goodness
మీ
me.
నాట్
What was that?
కొంచెం అనవసరంగా ఉన్న యాప్స్ ని తీసేస్తాం. సో మన బ్యాండ్ విత్ అంతా ఛాంపియన్షిప్ మీద వస్తాం. ఇన్స్టాల్ ఫేస్బుక్ ఇవన్నీ క్లోజ్ చేస్తాం.
What a round out of your sniper player to come out here and really set the tone in round number 2. Trixon is 6-0. Was that? That is unbelievable.
Oh, dearie me. Trixon having a hell of a game here
Okay.
on Search and Destroy, able to tie this one up and out at 1-1. Full House Gaming definitely working
So,
on this and sniper
first
rifle.
2 rounds లో
Pretty
ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ అండ్ ఫుల్ హౌస్ 1-1 తీసుకున్నాయి.
early on.
ఒకవేళ మీరు కొత్తగా స్ట్రీమ్లో జాయిన్ అయ్యి ఈ టీమ్స్ గురించి తెలియకపోతే, ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ స్టేజ్ 4 ఛాంపియన్. స్టేజ్ 5 జరగలేదు కదా లాస్ట్ ఇయర్, బట్ స్టేజ్ 4 ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ విన్ అయింది.
Gonna go out here.
ఫుల్ హౌస్ ఈ ఇయర్ కొత్తగా ఫామ్ అయ్యి క్వాలిఫై అయిన టీం.
Trying to make a move over towards that B site. You need to be
So,
able to move through upper comms.
దీంతో పాటు ప్యారలల్గా ఇంకో మ్యాచ్ జరుగుతుంది. దానిలో సిగ్నస్ అని ఒక టీం ఉంది. వాళ్ళు ఈ ఇయర్ ఛాంపియన్స్ అనమాట స్టేజ్ 4లో. సారీ, స్టేజ్ 3లో ఈ ఇయర్ ఛాంపియన్. సో స్టేజ్ 4కి ఫస్ట్ సీడ్గా క్వాలిఫై అయ్యారు. సో ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ ఆల్రెడీ గెలిచేసింది. లైక్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్ హ్యాక్నీ యాడ్ ఈ ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ గెలిచేసింది. సో వీళ్ళిద్దరికి సెకండ్ మ్యాచ్ ఈ సిరీస్లో. ఇది బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5. ఎవరు 3 గెలిస్తే వాళ్ళు నెక్స్ట్ రౌండ్కి వెళ్తారు. లైక్ దిస్, ఇది క్వార్టర్ ఫైనల్, సెమీస్కి వెళ్తారు. ఆల్సో ఇది డబుల్ ఎలిమినేటర్. సో ఒకవేళ ఎవరైనా ఓడిపోయినా వాళ్ళు లూజర్స్ బ్రాకెట్స్లోకి వెళ్తారు కానీ ఎలిమినేట్ అవ్వరు. సో వేరే మ్యాచ్లో ఎవరైతే ఓడిపోతారో వాళ్ళతో ఆడతారు. సో అన్ని రౌండ్స్ అలాగే వెళ్తాయి అన్నమాట. సో మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ మనకి ఇదంతా అయిన తర్వాత అది ఎలా బ్రాకెట్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయి ఒకసారి చూడొచ్చు. బ్రో, నా పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ లిస్ట్లో ఓన్లీ కిట్టు బ్రోనే చూపిస్తుంది. ఇంకెవరైనా ఉంటే కామెంట్ చేయండి.
Full House Gaming, I mean, it's off the back end of Trixon being 6-1. I mean, this is obviously one of the big factors, but his teammates get a little bit more involved in that round number 3 to give them that edge. They're playing the numbers well. They're always coming out with advantages, and now Influence Rage. Well, it's going to be a battle right into the middle of the map.
So,
It's going to be the first field that
Full
does
House
come through.
వరుసగా 2 rounds
Here for
గెలిచి
Full House Gaming,
గెలిచారు ఇప్పుడు
and that's gonna force
2
everyone back now on the
సో
attack.
2-1 ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్తో. సో దిస్ ఇస్ థర్డ్ రౌండ్. ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ బ్యాక్ ఫుట్లో స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఒక ప్లేయర్ ఆల్రెడీ
It won't happen.
చనిపోయారు.
Rohan, of course, has that angle.
So-
and Margodera thinking better of it. But the good news for Influence Rage
So
is
Influence-
the player pushed all the way up. They can get this frag. If Dato can walk away with that kill against Fashion,
So-
that's huge. That will now open up a
See.
lane. This should effectively turn all the Full House Gaming
Oh,
players around.
suddenly
They do have
2
a
players.
secret weapon themselves, not
Suddenly
some secret
Full House
anymore.
lost 3 players
Take
in a
those
row.
first few shots off, will
Now
actually
it's
walk away with at least
2v3.
one frag and get some frags.
FH Insclane
Not
FH
too bad for himself. Now it's just a matter of
ఇన్సేలిన్ ఒకరిని ఒక కిల్ చేయడంతో 2v3 వచ్చింది. సో ఇప్పుడు ఇంకొక కిల్ చేయగలిగితే 1v3 అయ్యేది. బట్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఈ మ్యాచ్లో కమ్బ్యాక్ చేసింది. బాంబ్ ప్లాంట్ చేస్తారు. సో నౌ ఇట్స్ ఆన్ ఇన్సేలిన్. సో got that kill, but yeah, he dies. Clutch చేసే ఛాన్స్ అవ్వలేదు. సో back to 2 and
The thing there for
2-2.
that round for me was Full House Gaming. I mean, they spent so long trying to make those flanks work to try to really.
అనుకున్నంత ఈజీ కాదు బ్రో తెలుగు కామెంటరీ చేయడం.
And it just didn't work out whatsoever. So
ఇంగ్లీష్లో చేయడమే బెటర్ అనిపిస్తుంది ఒక్కోసారి.
here from Influence Rage early on. A
So,
very tight search
okay.
and destroy as far as
Round
the
5.
are concerned.
రౌండ్ 5 ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ 5 రౌండ్ బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 11 కదా, ఎందుకంటే 6 rounds గెలిస్తే వాళ్ళు గెలిచినట్టు.
the change up, right? Defensively,
So-
last time it was like a 5-man rush mid on the defense where you're really never going
We have
expect
to
that,
see.
are you? And this time
It
it's
started
back
in-
to the passive setup. So you're really relying
ఇద్దరు
on
ప్యాసివ్
those
గానే
setup
ఆడుతున్నారు లాస్ట్ 2 rounds
set up
నుంచి.
the setup on one side of the map or the
సో
other, and there it is.
yeah,
Nicely
nice,
done.
that was
Salen
nice.
Kyle with his pants
And
down.
Salen
He comes through, Crows and finds the first one.
cross and
Now Ronnie
us.
has the time to play with.
Very cool. And Salen full house gaming లో
Have their eyes
player.
set on a beat push. They need to be
So-
careful though. Tieto, nice kill
So
from
now
him,
it
and
now
that
it's
now
3v5. Full house
entirely. It's a
has
3
to
versus
try and
5.
take those 5
All of
players
their
to
players are over
get
towards
that
the alley,
win.
and while there is still a little bit of work to be done, definitely advantage
So
being
we
held in
see that
Influence Rage.
really this is passive and దీనిలో ఏ కామెంట్ చేయాలో నాకు తెలియట్లేదు.
And the fact he's got this lane down
ఇక్కడ ఒక ఛాన్స్ మిస్ అయినట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. ఏ పాయింట్ దగ్గర స్టేక్అవుట్ చేస్తున్నారు, సారీ పీ పాయింట్ దగ్గర స్టేక్అవుట్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో వాళ్ళు అటు పుష్ చేస్తారని. సో ఇప్పుడు 1v5 ఫుల్ హౌస్ P1 కొట్టారు. మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ ఇట్స్ లైక్ అదేదో B1 గాట్ టైప్. బట్ ఒక కిల్ చేయగలిగాడు కానీ రాలేదు. సో 2 rounds కంటిన్యూస్గా ఫుల్ హౌస్కి, 2 rounds కంటిన్యూస్గా ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్కి. సో ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ గెలిచింది. సో 3-2-3 now. Okay, so side switch అయ్యాయి. Two quick kills.
That is a nice start, I think, overall from Full House Gaming. They wanted to set their own pace. They've managed to do it in this
Wait,
round.
ఇందాక
And now for Influence Rage, I mean, your only hope is that Gohan is able to stay in this position, realistically speaking. Now, there is some good news.
Influence
They chose to take
Gohan
out Bigadera. So now this is a 3 versus 4 still. A little bit
వెయిట్
more
ఈస్
but
ఏం 2-3 players ఉన్నారని వెనక్కి వచ్చాడు అనుకుంటా అక్కడి నుంచి. So that స్టేకింగ్ అవుట్ దోస్ స్పాట్స్. బాంబ్ అయితే ఇంకా ప్లాన్ చేయలేదు. ఐ థింక్ దే ట్రై టు push for that bomb plant.
You really did call it
Maybe.
quite nicely here, Brody. I mean, very little map control. You're basically pinned to the back of your spawn. So if this bomb goes down, it'll be difficult to play retake here. But he was able to find himself one.
It full house is attacking, right? Yes.
Drop Trixon also able to find himself a
So
kill.
suddenly Influence
Matter of
Rage
seconds, Full House Gaming now find themselves with the
That's
bomb
2v3.
going down, but the peak is perfect.
Yeah.
However, the cover is there, and now it's going to be a 1
that was good
versus
cover.
3. Would take a lot out of the King to get this done.
సో
would be an incredible
పీక్ ఉంది, బాంబ్ ప్లాంట్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తారు. ముందుకు వచ్చి పుష్ చేసినప్పుడు చంపేశారు. గుడ్ ప్లే, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోలేదు మనం. సో మనం ఛాంపియన్షిప్లో బాగా చూడగలిగేది ఏంటంటే పొజిషనింగ్. సో అది మన గేమ్ ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవడానికి కూడా బాగా పనికొస్తుంది. ప్రతి మ్యాప్లో పొజిషనింగ్ బాగా తెలుసుకోవచ్చు మనం.
Approach this play. 30 seconds on the clock.
పొజిషనింగ్ అంటే ఏ పొజిషన్లో మనం ఉండగలుగుతాము.
He does it for King. He drops down here. Might get some good timing, but you've got to imagine Fashion's about to see him. There's no way that King's able to do this scot-free.
Well, I think he spots one. The problem is the time on the clock here, and now they do know where he is, so everyone's going to start to collapse. There's the team shot. Fashion finds another one, and that will bring us now all tied
Okay.
up. 3
So
to
first
3.
round
Cody
full
getting
house
very
attacking
intense
round,
towards the
వాళ్ళు
crossing
గెలిచారు.
forward, and that was off the back
Going
end.
to round
Really
number
nice
7.
round coming through. Trixon gets involved in that one. He's now up to 8-3. Has a plan.
ఎవరైతే 6 గెలుస్తారో వాళ్ళు విన్ అయినట్టు. SND
One of those stellar games that's now played a factor in being able to keep this one close.
ఒక నేడ్
Again, the aggression being set here. This time
Raid
around,
తో అయితే
House
attack
Gaming
చేసి start
right
చేశారు.
in the faces of Influence
ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్
Rage.
రేజ్
Big error. What
ఒక
can he
ఒక
do?
ప్లేయర్ని అయితే
Gets up
కోల్పోయింది.
well close and personal with Gohan.
Oh,
Regrets it almost
that's
immediately.
4v4
Here
now,
and
so
in a 4 versus 4 situation. Trixon trying to get some snipes
So
off.
Trixon-
Can go absolutely
ట్రిక్సన్
wild.
నాట్ ట్రిక్సన్ రైట్ ఇందాక ఆ స్కోప్ కొట్టింది ఇన్సైలన్ కదా అతను బాగా స్నైప్ చేశాడు కూడా. ఆర్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్లో వేరే ప్లేయరా స్ట్రైన్ నాకు గుర్తులేదు. Yeah, this is obvious part. So that B plant ని ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేయగలుగుతారు.
Might have seen him here, and likely Dado might have just seen him as well. So you have to be careful whenever you see Tricks, and you know he's probably got a scope in hand. You don't want to give him another peek, and he's going to completely back up. I like this call, but the bomb, it's worked over towards the A site now, so this very likely should be a plan.
So,
it looks like it will be. Sailing gonna drop
most
this
probably
down.
Sailing
No position
sorry
just yet, and Influence right now.
ఫుల్ హౌస్ ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గ్యాదర్ చేస్తున్నట్టు ఉన్నారు వాళ్ళు.
They are. This is a massive
అందరూ బి దగ్గర స్టేక్ అవుట్ చేస్తున్నారని, అందుకే వాళ్ళు ఏకి పుష్ చేసి వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నారు బాంబ్ ప్లాంట్ చేసి. నో ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఎలా రియాక్ట్ అవుతుంది అని చూడాలి మనం.
Trying to make his way down, or Cruisen, sorry, trying to make his way down, but I mean, for instance, Rage, you've got to find something quickly, and here we go. Actually, Gohan's
So,
gonna pick up one.
Influence Rage
Sailing, able to
tries
pick
to
up
move
a
in.
return. Gohan with yet
So,
another. That's his 11th
They have only one player.
this game. King
Oh,
will
Full
get
House
another
has only one
Just
defender left.
player left. It's
Okay.
Fashion. What can he do?
Ah.
The shots go out, but it's gonna be a
Yeah.
retake from Influence Rage.
Very intense round.
Oh, okay.
A lot of back and forth that
So
happened there.
Influence
I
Rage
thought the setup was gonna be
takes
good
this
because there was
round.
really
So
no one in
it's
position, but it should
after
really have
7
to be
rounds,
comes through the middle of the map, right? They find a
game
couple of kills.
game score
That gives them enough
4-3.
room to be able to just
So
shift
చాలా
the bomb
passive
side,
game
push it up,
జరుగుతుంది
play the
వీళ్ళిద్దరి
trades,
మధ్యలో.
and it's just way too much to handle
SND.
for Fashion
So
in this
SND
one.
generally passive game, but
Find that first kill of the
మార్నింగ్
round.
జపాన్ రీజియన్ చూడాల్సింది.
Into a
SND
round
అంత
number
aggressive గా
8.
జరిగిందో.
Aggression is really coming out for us as
So-
everyone's trying to take over the middle of the map here on the attack. Last time we got
So
a bomb
ఇద్దరు
plant
middle of the
on A.
map
This
push
time
చేశారు.
they've already managed to get
So
on A
A
right
దగ్గర
away, and it looks like they're gonna go for the same
ఓకే
setup
డైరెక్ట్
of
ప్లాంట్
fast
ఏ
break
దగ్గరికి
bomb.
వెళ్ళి
This time it's
చేస్తారు.
for the 5v5 retake.
మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ బి దగ్గర ఉండొచ్చని
Here we go again. Full House
expect
Gaming
చేసి
get this
వెళ్ళారు.
one down now.
సో
It's all gonna be about Influence Rage.
ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ పుష్ చేస్తుంది. ఆ సెంటర్ ప్లేస్ నుంచి పుష్ చేసి కిల్స్ తీసుకోవడానికి ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. Full House ఇద్దరు ప్లేయర్స్ పోగొట్టుకుంది. It's now 2v3. So this is Insalian waiting with Fennec తో వెయిట్ చేశాడు. వెయిట్ చేసి Insalian ఒకటి తెచ్చాడు 2. So there's a turnaround. Oh, Insalian 3 కంటిన్యూస్ కిల్స్ తో ఆ రౌండ్ తీసుకున్నాడు.
But I love the rocket launcher coming out there in the final moments. A little ring around the rosy, a little finesse there to really pull off the clutch play. I mean, that was a round you needed to make sure things do not get out of hand. So now we're squared up 4-4. The aggression has been working out very nicely. This time they're going to switch it up a bit. They're going to start working over to B, but a lot of nades, a lot of
So
tacticals, they've been thrown out. So that information should be good
So
for
again,
Influence
a
Rage.
similar
It's gonna be
tactic.
Gohan in the back. It's going to be watched right now from GDS. A
So
big
most
1-on-1
probably
gunfight.
వాళ్ళు
Meanwhile,
push
it's gonna
చేశారు.
be Crozen who falls, and will these players even see each other?
I think Gohan might get away here without GDS seeing him. Yes, he has.
Full
This is
House
dangerous.
first.
House Gaming.
ఫస్ట్ లోనే ఒక ప్లేయర్ని కోల్పోయింది.
It's now, I think,
So
for
ఇప్పుడు
me, a
మనం
case of how quickly he does this. I know obviously you don't want to wait too much
4v3
of it, but
సిచ్యువేషన్ లో
takes
ఉన్నాము.
long.
అందరూ స్టేక్ అవుట్ లో ఉన్నారు సెంటర్.
Something-
ఈ మూమెంట్ పెద్దగా జరగట్లేదు.
something's going
నాకు
wrong.
తెలిసి ఏ పుష్ కోసం వెయిట్ చేస్తారని వాళ్ళు ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేసి వెళ్ళట్లేదు అటు.
to be honest.
పీ పుష్ కోసం
Well,
పీ ట్రై చేసి వెళ్తారా? సో
able to find the big one-on-one
it's
gunfight. Will he be able to find the second? Salen with the response.
so
Brigadera also finding himself
3v3.
another gunfight right inside.
Now,
Brigadera
now
got
it's back to
another one here
2v
for himself.
2v3 for
No way to
influence
start.
rage.
Cheetah will shut
Oh,
him down, but the trades
so
just simply go back in
only
front.
one player left for influence rage now, who is
Versus two.
Son.
Salen gonna
So
try and drop
can he
the bomb.
get?
I think that was a hit marker that came through, and it was.
Yeah.
Tripson's health down to just
So
a
wait
sliver
just
of
a minute.
HP. That's gonna at least
So
stop
that
them
will
getting
fine.
the bomb down here right away.
Fen
Or sorry,
ఇన్సైలిన్ ఫెనెక్ ని పికప్ చేసుకున్నాను, బట్ వెనక నుంచి హిట్ చూసాం. సో యా, సో ఫుల్ హౌస్ takes this round with 5, and they're now in the lead with 5-4.
An unfortunate opportunity there for Crozen. If he was actually looking at the bomb,
So
expecting that player to still be there, of course. Surprise, surprise. They were not, but Influence Rage now find themselves just one round away from being 2-0 down in this series. This is a massive round. You have to imagine you don't want to go into that raid domination. 2-0 down. Trixin has to go off here. He did it early on in the search and destroy. Now would be a great time to replicate that.
Oh, sure would. I mean, a big opening pick here. I mean, can play the difference, especially with how well they've been attacking and, controlling the bomb sites the last couple of rounds here for themselves. They've hit some kind of a second wind in the search and destroy. It's been playing out quite nicely here for them. But maybe a big gunfight through the side. Salen really debating on whether or not he wants to drop this bomb. Maybe just trying to bait out some sound cues at the moment. Cheeto is going to be able to throw a stun that's going to lock Salen in place. But luckily a challenge doesn't come through, and now it does. But we're going to see kills go back and forth. Both teams going to lose one.
ఈ రౌండ్ కొంచెం అటాకింగ్ గా జరుగుతుంది, అంత ప్యాసివ్ గా జరగలేదు. బట్ ఫుల్ హౌస్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ సీమ్స్ టు హావ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ మేబీ ఈ ప్యాసివ్ గేమ్ ఇంకా చాలరా బాబు, వెళ్ళి చంపడేద్దాం వాళ్ళని, ఎంత ఏంటి గోళ అన్నట్టు వచ్చి టప 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 ఫుల్ హౌస్ ని కొట్టేశారు. అయిపోయింది. ఓకే, దర్ బాంబ్ ప్లాంట్ అయింది, నేను చూడలేదు ఆ విషయం. అంతా రష్ చేశారు, బట్ ఈవెన్ ఇంకొక 2 seconds ఉండుంటే వాళ్ళకి అది కూడా వచ్చేది. సో అది గెలిచేసాళ్ళు, బట్ అన్ఫార్చునేట్ 5-5 అయ్యేది. బట్
simply how it is. I mean, in this game, what we're used to a 7.5 second defuse. It's much shorter here in COD Mobile, and you just got to make sure someone's over on that bomb.
ఎవరైతే చూస్తున్నారో మీరు ఏమైనా కామెంట్ చేయాలనుకుంటే చేయండి. సో ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. ఇది వాచ్ అలాంగ్, ఇది నా కామెంటరీ కాదు, మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను. సో మనం మాట్లాడుకుంటే బాగుంటుంది నేను చెప్పడం కన్నా ఏదైనా. సో ఆ గేమ్లో చాలా మంచి రష్ చేశారు చివరిలో, బట్ అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ ఒక్క 1 second ఆర్ లెస్ దాన్ 1 second ఉంటే డిఫ్యూజ్ చేయగలిగాడు. ఇంకా ఆ కేయాస్లోనే ప్లాన్ చేసేసినట్టున్నారు. నేను ఒకసారి ఎప్పుడైనా రీప్లే చూడాలి. లెట్ మీ ట్రై అండ్ గెట్ అ రీప్లే ఆఫ్ దట్. మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి రీప్లే వెనక్కి వెళ్ళి చూద్దాం అక్కడ ఏం జరిగింది. నేను కన్ఫ్యూజన్. సో ఎక్కడికి వచ్చాం? 5-4 కదా. యా, ప్యాసివ్ స్టార్ట్. మళ్ళీ అక్కడ చూద్దాం అనుకున్నాను ఏం జరిగిందో, సడన్ గా జరిగింది. ఓకే, సో ఏ ప్లాన్ స్టార్ట్ లో చేస్తారు, ఆ ఏ ప్లాన్ డిఫ్యూజ్ చేయడానికి రష్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారా? ఓకే ఓకే ఓకే, నాకు ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైంది ఏం జరిగింది. మళ్ళీ లైవ్ వెళ్దాం. సో ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ ఫస్ట్ 2 games గెలిచేశారు. ఇంకొక గేమ్ గెలిస్తే ఈ రౌండ్ గెలిచి విన్నర్స్ బ్రాకెట్ సెమీఫైనల్కి వెళ్తారు. లేదు అంటే ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేంజ్ సేవ్ చేయాలి వాళ్ళు గెలవకుండా. చూద్దాం ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేంజ్ వెనక్కి వస్తుందా, లేకపోతే నెక్స్ట్ గేమ్ కూడా వీళ్ళే తీసుకుంటారా. Cygnus
behind the scenes right now. That is yet another winners bracket quarter final matchup, and that is currently 2-0, I believe, to Cygnus Esports. So quite something, Austin.
Yes, it's a very nice position to
brackets
be in. Without a doubt here, we might end up getting into
so that brackets alone to explain it overall, but
finding yourself, I mean, 2 up, you want to get it done. You want to make sure you're not giving the other team, you know, resurgence going in towards the map 4, then potentially forcing a map 5. Get the job done right here, right now, in towards the map number 3, and that's what we'll potentially see. Because we go back to the map number 1, and it felt like overall, like the slaying power that was coming through here for Full House Gaming was, you know, really just a couple levels above, you know, what we were getting here out of other squads. So that can be a bit of a problem if you're not being able to match that. If you're, you know, going on these like sprees, being able to get streaks coming in towards like a second hill right away, that can get very terrifying here. And the same thing, you know, essentially exists in the domination, where you're looking to control everything around B. You want a ring setup, you want mid-map control. That is really a lot of what this game mode comes down to on raids. So we'll see what team is going to be better at it, and we'll see maybe if there's going to be some ARs that come out, if we are going to continue to kind of just get these horizons that have really just been kind of
brackets
rolling over
చూపించండి ట్రై చేస్తా
here so far throughout the day.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a player, I think, in this series. If I want anybody to kind of maybe shine here in this raid domination, it's definitely Gohan for me. I think, you know, the way he's playing with that SMG role at the moment is actually pretty good. He is showing some promise for sure. But if you can really step out here and show up for his squad, it would be incredible on raid domination, because that's what we always talk about, right? When it comes to raid as a map, it is just such an SMG heavy map. You know, when we talk about sort of Black Ops Cold War, of course, and Black Ops 2, dare I say it. You know, it is very much an SMG heavy map, and I can imagine the exact same thing will come over to Call of Duty Mobile here. But it has been great so far. Remember, guys, this reminder for everybody at home, this is round number 1, the winners bracket quarterfinals. We have a long way to go before we decide which 3 teams will be making it into the 2021 Call of Duty Mobile World Championships, because that's how many spots we have today. 3 teams will be making it there, Austin.
3 teams. It's like you look at all 8 and you're like, damn, only 3 of you guys are making it throughout this entire bracket, Brody. It's a lot to take in. It's very intense, and even more intense for the players that are currently in game. But it looks like we do.
ఒక్క సెకండ్ నేను గేమ్ కామెంటరీ వస్తాను. ఇది ఈ స్క్రీన్
towards our other matchup at the moment. This looks to be
brackets
a very
తీసుకుని
close game. A and B currently being held. We're starting to see a bit of a lead being formed as well. This will also be a target to 150. Streaks are in play. Death Machine currently on your screen, so a lot to play with at the moment as we see a 10-point differential.
Man, take off such a good map here, and we're already seeing it as what you say, 110 points to 97 for Cygnus Esports. This is our other matchup as we get into the second half here.
Okay.
Pretty close one. All in all,
ఇది ఫస్ట్ గేమ్ అనుకుంటా, సిగ్నస్ వర్సెస్ RWR Esports.
And you need to do that through the top
So,
side of the map. You need
సిగ్నస్ ఫస్ట్ లీడ్ తీసుకున్నట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. 117. ఓ బీభత్సమైన లీడ్ కాదు, బట్ at least they have some lead. Oh, this is domination. Okay.
You have to try and make some progress now over towards B at the moment, and while you're looking at the kill
So,
right now, and seems to be
ఓకే, టేక్ ఆఫ్ లో నిజంగా డామ్ పాయింట్స్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఎక్కడైనా ఉంటుందని నేను అనుకున్నాను. సో ఏ అండ్ బి, ఏ మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ ఒక కొంచెం హిల్ ఉండొచ్చు. సో మేబీ ఏ కంట్రోల్ కొంచెం ఉండే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి, కానీ అంత ఎక్కువ జరిగే ఛాన్స్ కూడా అనిపించదు నాకు. సో బి తీసుకోవడానికి ఆల్మోస్ట్ బి తీసేసుకున్నారు సిగ్నస్ ఈస్పోర్ట్స్, బట్ ఇంకా తీసుకోలేదు. ఓ సారీ నాట్ సిగ్నస్ ఈస్పోర్ట్స్, RWR ఇందాక ఆల్మోస్ట్ బీని తీసుకున్నారు, బట్ కంప్లీట్గా తీసుకోలేదు. సిగ్నస్ ఇంకా కంట్రోల్లోనే ఉంది. 5 more points లెఫ్ట్. ఈవెన్ ఒక్క పాయింట్తో కూడా ఇప్పుడు గెలిచేస్తారు సిగ్నస్ ఈస్పోర్ట్స్. సో 3 క్యాప్ రావడం అనేది జరగదు. మనం లీడ్ అంతా లేకపోయినా సిగ్నస్ కంట్రోల్లో ఉన్నట్టే కనిపించారు చివరి వరకు ఆ గేమ్లో. సో మనం మధ్యలో వచ్చాము. ఇది ఓకే ఐ థింక్ అది రాంగ్ అనుకుంటా కదా, అది ఇందాక మ్యాచ్ది. సో ఇంకా అది కూడా కంప్లీట్ అవ్వలేదు. సో చూద్దాం. సో థర్డ్ రౌండ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్కి ఫుల్ హౌస్కి థర్డ్ రౌండ్ సమ్మిట్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్, సమ్మిట్ డామినేషన్. ఓకే, సో ఏబి ఫుల్ హౌస్ కంట్రోల్లో ఉన్నారు. సో ఏ ఇస్ ది బెస్ట్ స్పాట్ టు కంట్రోల్ obviously for so full house. సో మ్యాప్ కంట్రోల్ అయితే తీసుకున్నట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. సో ఏకి ఫ్లిప్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తారు ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్, కానీ అవ్వలేదు. ఓ ఐ థింక్ మేబీ నా క్లియర్ చేసి తీసుకున్నారు. ఒకవేళ ఏ తీసుకోగలిగి స్పాన్ అయితే ఫ్లిప్ చేయగలిగితే పీ కంట్రోల్ తీసుకోవడం ఈజీ అవుతుంది. సో ఏ వెయిట్ ఏంటి కంట్రోల్ చేద్దాం అంటారు చేస్తున్నారు, లేదు. సో దిస్ గై ఇస్ ఫ్రమ్ ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్. సో మేబీ సి దగ్గర బ్లాక్ చేద్దామని ట్రై చేస్తున్నట్టున్నాడు. సో ఏ మళ్ళీ ఫుల్ హౌస్ వెనక్కి తీసేస్తుంది. సో ఆ స్పాన్ ఫ్లిప్ టాక్టిక్ అయితే వర్కౌట్ అవ్వలేదు. నేను చాలా సార్లు సో ఆడుతున్నాను, తగ్గించాలి కొంచెం. ఓకే, సో స్కోర్ లైన్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ క్లోజ్గా ఉంది, బట్ ఫుల్ హౌస్ కంట్రోల్లో ఉన్నట్టే ఉంది. ఓకే, సో డెత్ మెషిన్. ఓకే, 1 సెకండ్. నేను ఇలా 2 పనులు చేస్తే మైండ్ అలానే ఉంటుంది, కామన్ కరెక్ట్గా చెప్పడం కష్టం. సో నేను ఫస్ట్ బ్రాకెట్స్ తీసుకుని వస్తా, బ్రాకెట్స్ పెట్టేసి ఆ తర్వాత మనం కామెంటరీ చెప్పుకుందాం. మధ్యలో బ్రేక్ వచ్చినప్పుడు బ్రాకెట్స్ ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతాయో చూపిస్తాను.
If you can maybe try to get any additional points here off the remaining flag. The equalizers come out at
మళ్ళీ వచ్చేసాను మ్యాచ్ కి.
able to find a couple of kills, but might have just been worth maybe
సో
saving them in the second half overall.
ఇంకా ఒక పాయింట్ వస్తుంది. ఈ రౌండ్ అయితే ఫుల్ హౌస్ తీసేసుకుంది. సో ఫుల్ హౌస్ గెరిల్లా స్క్వాడ్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు కదా ఏలో ఇందులో. ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఇప్పుడు ఏ సైడ్ ఉంది కాబట్టి అంత ఎక్కువ లీడ్ ఇవ్వలేదు కాబట్టి ఇంకా ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఈ గేమ్ ఓడిపోతే లూజర్స్ బ్రాకెట్ కి ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ లోనే వెళ్ళిపోతారు. ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ లో లూజర్స్ బ్రాకెట్ కి వెళ్తే చాలా కష్టం అవుతుంది, ఎందుకంటే కంటిన్యూస్ గా 4 మ్యాచెస్ గెలుస్తూ వెళ్ళాలి. అది ఎందుకో కూడా నేను తర్వాత చూపిస్తాను.
Well be it, but you need to get these kills. Bigadera able to pick up yet another one. Full House Gaming, they just always seem to win these fights. Fashion has to win this one versus King.
ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఏనైతే తీసుకుంది బి క్యాప్చర్ కోసం స్టార్టింగ్ లోనే ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు. ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ ఒక స్వాన్ ట్రాప్ సెట్ చేసుకుని కూర్చోడానికి ట్రై చేసినట్టు కనిపిస్తుంది. అక్కడి నుంచి అక్కడ ఎవరు లేకపోవడంతో ఆ సెంటర్ గుడ్ పాయింట్. లోకి ఎప్పుడు అక్కడ చూడడం అయితే మర్చిపోకూడదు. సో పి ఇంకా ఉంది, అలాగే ఎవరు తీసుకోలేదు. ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ చాలా మంచి టాక్టిక్ అది. మధ్యలో ఇంగ్లీష్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ ఏం చేశారంటే కంట్రోల్ వచ్చే వరకు వెయిట్ చేసి తర్వాత బీ తీసుకున్నారు. సో ఇందాక అందరినీ క్లియర్ చేయగలిగిన ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ తీసుకోలేకపోయారు, అది చాలా దారుణం. అది తీసేసుకోగలుగుంటే ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఈ మ్యాచ్ గెలిచేసాడు. ఇప్పుడు చాలా కష్టం. ఏసి అస్సలు అది అట్లా టాక్టిక్ ఎందుకు ప్లే చేయాలి కూడా. మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ బి దగ్గర ఎక్కువ ఇది ఉంది కాబట్టి వీళ్ళు ఎక్కువ ఇటు సైడ్ ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి చేస్తున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు ఏకి స్పాన్ ఫ్లిప్ చేయగలిగితే ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ ఇట్స్ ఆల్ ఓవర్ ఫర్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్. ఇంకా సి నుంచి పుష్ చేసి బి ఏ కూడా తీసుకోవాలి అంటే కష్టం. ఇంకా ఏ తీసుకోవాల్సినంత స్టేజ్ అయితే నాకు తెలిసి అదే ట్రిపుల్ క్యాప్ చేయాల్సినంత ఛాన్స్ అయితే రాలేదు. బట్ బి అండ్ సి అయితే తీసుకోగలిగారు ప్రస్తుతానికి. కంట్రోల్ అయితే చేయగలుగుతారా లేదా స్పాన్ని కంట్రోల్ చేసి ఏకి పుష్ చేసి ట్రై చేస్తారా చూడొచ్చు. మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ ఇప్పుడు ట్రై చేసి రిస్కీ మూవ్లు ట్రై చేయరు అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఒక్కటైతే చూడొచ్చు, ఒక అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏంటంటే హిల్ సైడ్ ఉంటాము, ఏ నుంచి పుష్ చేయొచ్చు. ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే ఏ సైడ్ ఏ నుంచి బీకి పుష్ చేయకుండా స్ట్రైట్ ఫార్వర్డ్ పుష్ మధ్యలో ఆ బ్లాక్ చేయడానికి మనకు ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయి ఇక్కడ నుంచి. అది ఒక రకమైన అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏ సైడ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి. సి సైడ్ స్పాన్ నుండి ఏ నుంచి రానివ్వకుండా చేయడానికి. కానీ ఒకవేళ కనుక మనం ఫస్టే ఆ పాయింట్స్కి పొజిషనింగ్కి రష్ చేయలేకపోతే
over towards C.
ఏ నుంచి వచ్చేవాళ్ళు ఆటోమేటిక్గా తీసేసుకుంటారు కాబట్టి అది మనకి ఇంకా అక్కడి నుంచి చేసేదేమి ఉండదు ఎవరైనా. సో ఇంకా ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ టూ క్యాప్తో ఉంది. సో చూడాలి కంబ్యాక్ చేస్తారా అని. సో ఫింగర్స్ క్రాస్. నాకు గేమ్ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్గా ఉండాలి బ్రో, ఎవరు గెలిచినా ప్రాబ్లం లేదు కానీ. సో చాలా 3-0 చూశాను మార్నింగ్ నుంచి. సో నాకు ఇంకా 3-0 చూడాలనిపించట్లేదు. సో ఈ గేమ్ ఎవరైనా గెలిచి ఉంటే బాగుంటుంది అనిపిస్తుంది. 3-0 అంటే బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5 కదా, అందులో 3 డైరెక్ట్గా గెలిచేసారు చాలా టీమ్స్ మార్నింగ్ నుంచి. ఓకే, స్మోక్ అయితే వేసారు తీసుకోవడానికి. బట్ యా ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ చాలా వరకు కానీ చాలా కంపోజ్డ్గా ఆడుతున్నారు. సో ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్ ఇక్కడ మాత్రం, ఎందుకంటే డూ ఆర్ టై తప్పదు, ఒకళ్ళు ఆడాలి. ఓడిపోతే ఫస్ట్లోనే లూజర్ బ్రాకెట్కి వెళ్ళిపోతారు. ఓకే, ఆల్మోస్ట్ దే హావ్ టేకెన్ ద లీడ్, టైడ్. ఎస్, నౌ దే హావ్ స్టార్టెడ్ ద లీడ్ అండ్ లీడ్ అయితే పెరుగుతుంది. చాలా స్లో అండ్ స్టడీ లీడ్, బట్ హోల్డ్ అవుట్ చేయగలిగితే గెలిచేస్తారు. జస్ట్ 2. Yes, that's it. So that's a very close match and a very good comeback from Influence Rage. So now it's 2 games to 1. Influence Rage ఆ మ్యాచ్ని సేవ్ అయితే చేయగలిగారు, సిరీస్ని, బెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 5ని. ఓవర్ టర్న్ చేయగలుగుతారా లేదా చెప్పలేము, ఎవరు చెప్పగలుగుతారు.
And I think there was a moment early on there in the second round. I think it was Bigadera that had the Goliath suit out. It was just sitting inside laundry.
నాకు ఒక్క కాంకరెంట్ వ్యూవర్ చూపిస్తుంది. ఎవరన్నా అంటే కామెంట్ చేయరా ప్లీజ్, ఎవరున్నారని.
Really well played, I think, overall from Influence Rage, and that is the resilience we wanted to see in that map.
Yeah, we sure did, but as another one finishes, we're moving back in, I guess, just to see how kind of maybe everything played out with the replays. And you take a look at it, and it's a nice lead for Full House Gaming, right? Like they have themselves up, a good 25 points. It looks like.
Yeah, Full House Gaming చాలా వరకు కంట్రోల్లో ఉన్నట్టు ఉన్నారు ఆ గేమ్, బట్ చివర్లో కంట్రోల్ పోగొట్టుకున్నారు.
Just having at the back of laundry, right? They were forcing the spawns.
The movement ఏంటో చూడాలి ఒకసారి.
The middle of the map and cut through dividers, deal with all those headies on ring and top laundry. That is just never easy to do. So a very nice setup comes in the end. That's enough to pull out the win and enough to keep things going. And I mean, it's not easy to rebound back off of the way that you lost the S&D too, right, Brody? I mean, you were looking at a round 11 potentially if they were just able to hop on the bomb in time, and no one was able to do it. So the fact that they regain, they're down in the first half, they bring things back. This is a really good look for them heading in towards the second hard point here in the best of 5.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing here, if anything, is that Influence Rage are by far and away not out of this series whatsoever, because you mentioned the fact that the Search and Destroy is extremely close. If you were to remove the hard point from the series, we would be saying Influence Rage and Full House Gaming would be effectively neck and neck here, just down to the fact that, the Search and Destroy was incredibly close. Obviously, that domination was an incredible comeback from Influence Rage. It is just going to come down to this map number 4 in this series. If we can bring up the map set to show everybody at home now where the rest of this series will be going in just a second. I believe it's going to be firing range. I want to say hardpoint for map number 4. I might be right. I might well be a clairvoyant. Who knows? But yeah, it is going to be, I think, an incredible matchup now, because I think Influence Rage, not that they weren't playing the best in map number 1, but they definitely got rolled over. They have woken up.
They have woken up and they matched the slaying. And I mean, that was on the back end of, I think, 26 kills, I think it was, in the very first half from 2 players alone on Full House Gaming. So the fact that they can bounce back from that is a very good look at what they might be able to do coming in towards a firing range. And I mean, this might be a map, that could potentially be their pick, right? Hackney Yard might have been Full House Gaming's pick. And now they're coming into one where they might be a little bit more experienced on, and they might be saying in the comms, like, all right, guys, we just took the raid. We made a very nice comeback. We're going into a firing range. We can still do this. We can get this this to a map 5. So this is going to be good looks. And it felt like they also had a really good usage on a lot of their specialists that were coming out. You mentioned the fact, you know, using the death machine at the right time, using the equalizers. I think there was a couple of specialists that were thrown away there from Full House Gaming at the end of the first half that were coming out into the second half that was used just very nicely overall. So this puts them in a spot where they might be able to do the exact same thing on firing range. It's a smaller map. It is similar to Hackney Yard in that sense, but you do have to be able to hold on towards the setups, especially at American, especially at Wood. You know, those are some of the money hills that end up playing out here for us on this map mode combination.
Yeah, for sure, right? It is so fun to see firing range back in competitive rotation, you know. And like, I guess my experience of firing range overall is just watching like very old Black Ops 1 clips for all the way back when competitive Call of Duty obviously was played on that title, and firing range was one of the competitive maps. It is so fun to see it back in rotation again. The magic of Call of Duty Mobile here in the World Championships. But yeah, this is going to be a great opportunity, I think, for Influence Rage to really start to put the first foot forward in this series, because that was a really tough comeback from them. I think that's something we really can't understate. Like, they had to work for that one. This could well have been a 3-0. They have been given a second life here in this series, and now it's about moving on. And just to give everybody a little bit of context as to overall what this tournament means, again, these teams fighting for the 3 spots available for Latin America teams in the Call of Duty Mobile 2021 World Championships. $2 million on the line overall for that one. A lot of cash, a lot of dough, and these players will be fighting for Austin.
Absolutely they are. And I mean, just the fact that, you know, you're playing for, you know, a good amount of cash here, and this 150K in the line as well. There's just so much to play for here for you. But I believe we're going to take a look at the bracket, see how things are kind of shaping up here for us overall. Psych, we're moving into game. We're moving right in towards firing range, and this will now be the map number 4. We just saw an incredible comeback that did in fact come through. We'll see if they can build off of it. Full House Gaming, they want to get the job done here, Brody. They do not want to go to a map 5.
Yeah, you don't want to go to map 5 if Full House Gaming. You let the last one slip away from you this time. Surely it doesn't happen again. Trade's going down straight away, but it is actually going to be Full House Gaming that come out on top, as Fashion and Drixon are able to pick up a couple of frags. And off the back of that now, control in for Influence Rage as Tito able to get in all on his lonesome for the moment. And now you're starting to see the effect of that.
Fighting for a lot of this first hill. I mean, usually you don't see a whole lot of time go over on it. It's about setting up the map control here for the rotation for P2, but sometimes you're able to at least get a player up top in 10, can start cutting down players through the middle of the map here for you overall. But now we're going to see Gohan just trying to move in there for a very quick moment, able to get a little bit of time, but up top you got to deal with the player in Sniper Tower, able to get there. And now with 15 seconds remaining, Full House Gaming, they might be able to get the scrap time here, but the early rotation does look to be favored for the side of Influence Rage.
This is a really nice rotation actually of Influence Rage. You could kind of see there Full House Gaming inside tin. They had control of that, and it was a problem that Influence Rage needed to deal with. They come through, they get all of those gunfights, and well, guess what, Austin? They deal with it. But it's not over just yet here for Full House Gaming on the rotation. As you can see now, the kills coming in. They managed to break it early on, and now it's about really blowing this game wide open. We've talked about getting early leads and hardpoint. This could well happen here for Full House Gaming.
Oh, it could, but Crow's in. He finds himself a couple there to make sure that they're not able to come through freely, and now it's going to be a response right back. Bigadera able to get himself 2, already working towards what could be maybe an early death machine, but here comes the contention right through the front doors. The reload is there, so won't be able to pick up the second. And now with the close spawn still favoring the side of Influence Rage, just another 30 seconds to play for here for yourself. You got a death machine that's already been able to come out, and this might be good to be able to pull away with a bit of a cushion heading in towards P3.
Yep, moving over towards P3 now. Influence Rage and Full House Gaming fighting for this rotation. You can already see Influence Rage pretty happy with their positions. It's going to be Fashion trying to make his way in. A couple of shots going out, but not enough to actually pick up the frag itself. And Fashion here, I mean, this is just so horrible to try and get in, but Trixon have the help now. This is the push they wanted to make happen. It's every single kill going Full House Gaming's way. They managed to break on in early, Austin.
Oh, right into the next one we're about to go, and it just feels like now there is a lot of control right now for Full House Gaming, but you know, are they going to be able to actually hold it? I mean, that's going to be the difficulty because they're challenging out pretty aggressively, and I mean, Dato's like, all right, keep challenging me, guys. I'm going to keep taking you down, and he put in quite a bit of work in the remaining scrap time there in the previous hill, so good stuff out of Dato, but he will finally be cut down, and now it's 3 players inside for Full House Gaming that have all of the control in the world. They've already gotten the first 30 seconds for themselves. You got a grab spike now in the back pocket. You got equalizers, everything you would want. Little ring around the rosy, little spin there will mean that we'll finally see Tito break through with 2, but there were still close spawns, and there was not full control just yet, and there it is, Full House Gaming. They were able to get right back in the point.
This is just crazy, Austin. The back and forth gameplay between these two at the moment. I mean, you look at the scoreline and you got to say, well, Full House having a better look at things here, but I mean, overall, this has just been such a chaotic hardpoint thus far. Nobody has had a full hold, but Frozen trying to make a change of that as we rotate over towards the next hardpoint. But here's a death machine coming out from Trixin. Shut down early on. Ooh. That is a key shutdown. Now Insulin able to get 3 in a row there. Will end up taken down. And once again, now it's time for those specialists to start coming out. Equalizers from Bigadera. He is shut down. Trades inside. It is Influence Rage now in. But you've got to imagine that Insulin and GDS will not let this one go away easily as they now are fighting for this one. Crozen in for a death machine now. It is specialist galore. But it is finally going to be Influence Rage here. Or Full House Gaming, sorry, who were able to have the final say. And now the positioning. I mean, you should theoretically be able to hold all these lanes.
I mean, that was an investment of Predator missile, so that means that they're going to try and get it, and they do end up doing it. Trixin was the one that dropped it, found a 2-piece. That clears out a bit of room to at least move through with the team push, so they were able to break in. Now we're looking at 101 to 68. Influence Rage, they've struggled to hold on towards the majority of the time on a hill since P2, and that is simply going to have to change. But look at GDS, he's reading things beautifully with the death machine. He's found himself 2, will be cut down right back here from King. But this is going to at least establish a bit of an early setup. I don't know how Tato finds that one. He just snaps up top there with a death machine of his own. So a lot of the specialist has been invested, and now P1 about to pop in Full House Gaming. They find themselves on the time first.
Yep, just 30 points away here are Full House Gaming. One hold, realistically speaking, and Influence Rage will be in danger, and you look at where they're spawning as well. This is not a good position for Influence Rage to be in. You have to find your way over and quickly. Fashin holding over the mid-map. Bigadera are also there. It's Influence Rage. They are spawning out Austin just 10 seconds away from victory.
Might be able to get it done right here, right now. Influence Rage, they found a comeback in the last map, but this one not looking possible. Will it be a triple? Oh my goodness! Trixin finds them all at 20-7 score line to end it right there, right now. 150 to 68 will be the final tally, and Full House Gaming, they're gonna move on through the winner's bracket.
What a hard point from them. And I gotta say as well, what a hard point from Influence Rage. They definitely had a fighting chance there in that hard point, Austin. Especially early on, it was just complete chaos. But once the specialists started coming down, I think particularly for that P4 rotation where Full House Gaming were able to basically hold it. It's just so tough when you're spawning out over towards the other side of the map, and there's not really much that you can do there, unfortunately, if you're Influence Rage. But they will be going down to the lower bracket, Austin, and Full House Gaming moving on here, one step closer to guaranteeing a place in the Call of Duty Mobile 2021 World Championships.
They sure are. I mean, just need to win that next one. The next one might be a little bit difficult because they are playing, the #1 team from the qualifier. But, if they're able to do it, then that would obviously give them such a massive boost going through the rest of the tournament overall. But as you mentioned, I mean, the fact that you now have to go through this lower bracket as Influence Rage, and, you want to be able to make another return to the World Championship here in 2021, and you got to go through how many elimination matchups to get it done? I mean, too many really is the right answer to that. So it's not going to be easy, but at that same time, we'll be keeping a close eye on them, and we'll see if they can, in fact, try to get something done and make it to that loser's final. But it'll be one hell of
Activar piel de combate.
Well, there's a look at some of the new content coming to Call of Duty Mobile. You definitely want to go check that one out. But again, let's take a look over to our bracket now, Austin. I believe it's ready to go to show how those matches affect the remainder of our bracket going forward, because the winners bracket semi-final, you know, it is ready to go, I believe. It's not currently shown there. Full House Gaming with that 3-1 victory over Influence Rage would then be going on to face Zygnus Esports, who got a convincing 3-0 versus RWR in their first round, Austin.
That's going to be a big matchup, man. I mean, Zygnus Esports, Full House. This is going to be one heck of a match to see who's going to be able to make it to the finals here and, you know, guarantee themselves a top 3. That would guarantee yourself, of course, you know, a chance to be able to move on through to the World Championship here. So this is one of the big ones. Of course, they're playing for additional money, but if you can at least just get the qualifying match out of the way early, that puts yourself in a very nice position to at least run through the rest of it and guarantee your spot at the World Championship. But I mean, it's not going to be easy. Zygnus Esports, I already hit on it. These guys got knocked down. I think it was round 4, round number 5 there in the qualifier, and they made the entire lower bracket run, got back up to that grand final, Brody, and then won 2 best of 5s that went the distance all the way to a map 5 to get the job done on a bracket reset. Like, talk about a narrative, talk about a storyline, not easy to do whatsoever, but one of those teams that has been able to do it. And you got to imagine their confidence coming in towards this one, especially already coming off a 3-0, it's got to be through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. Zygnus, the #1 seed here in today's regional playoffs. They are in with a chance of making it to the top 3, just one more victory, and they'll get there. No doubt we'll be covering that match later on, but I believe also we have some more matches coming away very shortly. It's going to be the remainder of the winners bracket quarterfinal matchups. I'm very excited to get into it, Austin. It's been a great day of mobile so far. We are far from done, though. On the other side of this break, we have some Call of Duty Mobile for you guys, the remainder of those winners bracket quarterfinal matches. Welcome back, everybody, to the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships 2021. The LATAM regional playoffs are about to continue, and if you're just joining us, well, it has been a heck of a day so far, Austin. We've just finished 2 of our quarterfinal matches, and we've got 2 more coming up.
We got 2 more coming up, and the first 2 looking pretty convincing on one side. Got to see a comeback there on the Ray domination, so there's already been a nice little kind of start to the day for us for as far as what we've been able to get. But now we're looking at this other side of the bracket. We're going to see what these teams are going to offer, and we're going to get to start to learn about these guys too.
Yeah, it's going to be Loops Esports versus Godsent. That's the first game. And then, of course, we have Skade versus Operation 34. So those are going to be 2 matches that we're kind of focusing on here. After this, Austin, we will have some semi-finals to go as well. And those will be effectively the qualification matches for Call of Duty Mobile World Championships. Because, of course, once you make it to the upper bracket final, you make it to the top 3 and therefore the World Championships as well. So those are going to be very important matches, but particularly down to these ones, again, it's going to be more of the same where we're trying to kind of discover, I guess, how everything is going so far. Let's show everybody the schedule at home then, to, I guess, show everybody what matches are ahead of us right now. Because again, we have just had 2 matches earlier on. That was Full House versus Influence Rage. So that was a 3-1 to Full House Gaming. Cygnus Esports 3-0 versus RWR. But those are the matches we're casting over right now, Austin.
That's right. We're coming into those ones, and this will be, another look at what we're going to get out of Loops Esports and Godsent. The other one is Skade, and these guys, might be able to kind of come through this very first round, and it might be with ease because they ran through the entire upper bracket and obviously went the distance there versus Cygnus Esports in 2 best-of-5s in the grand final. But they were the ones to at least win out on the winners final, guarantee their spot at grand finals, and they might be able to very likely do so again here. This is going to be one of those looks at what are these other teams going to be able to do? What do you have prepared for a team that has looked very solid? Those are the questions you're really going to be asking throughout a lot of these first initial rounds.
Yeah, for sure. I think I will say as well, the one thing is you just got to put that first foot forward. I think overall here, if you're Loops, Godsent, Skade, and Operation 34, you just need to make sure that you just take it one step at a time.
Bro, update ఏంటంటే 2 rounds అయ్యాయి. ఫుల్ హౌస్ వర్సెస్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ రేజ్. ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమింగ్ గెలిచింది. సిగ్నస్ ఈస్పోర్ట్స్ సెకండ్ రౌండ్ గెలిచింది కదా. యా సెకండ్ రౌండ్ ఫుల్ హౌస్ గేమ్ సిగ్నస్ ఈస్పోర్ట్స్ వర్సెస్ ఆర్డబ్ల్యూఆర్. సిగ్నస్ గెలిచింది. సో వాళ్ళిద్దరూ విన్నర్ బ్రాకెట్ సెమీస్లో ఆడతారు. సో సెకండ్ బ్రాకెట్ చూస్తున్నాం అప్పుడు స్కేడ్ అండ్ Operation 34 as that Operation .34. సో వాళ్ళిద్దరికి లూప్స్ ఈస్పోర్ట్స్కి గాడ్సెంట్కి జరిగే మ్యాచ్లో ఎవరు వెళ్తారో వాళ్ళు విన్నర్ బ్రాకెట్ సెకండ్ సెమీఫైనల్కి వెళ్తారు. సో ఆ 2 సెమీఫైనల్స్ ఈరోజు జరుగుతాయి. ఫైనల్స్ జరుగుతుంది. దాంతోపాటు లూజర్ బ్రాకెట్ సెమీస్ కూడా జరుగుతాయి. లైక్ 4 టీమ్స్ ఎవరైతే ఓడిపోయారో వాళ్ళకి ఇంకొక రౌండ్ జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. సో వాళ్ళల్లో విన్నర్స్ ఈ రౌండ్లో లైక్ ఇక్కడ ఈ రౌండ్ ఉంది కదా, లైక్ సెమీస్లో జరిగే లూజర్స్కి మ్యాచ్ జరుగుతుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు మనం వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నాము నెక్స్ట్ మ్యాచ్ స్టార్ట్ అవడానికి.
Yep, let's take a look at the series layout then for our next series, Loops Esports versus Godsent. This is the one we're going to be focusing on. Here's the
ఒకవేళ కొత్తగా స్ట్రీమ్కి వచ్చినట్టయితే కామెంట్ చేయండి.
What do we got?
సో మనం ఇంటరాక్ట్ అయ్యి
names are correct. Okay, we're being told the names are correct.
We can watch it together.
For a second, but it's okay. So we're going to be casting Takeoff Hardpoint to kick us off, Standoff Search and Destroy for map 2, Fire and Range Domination for map 3, Raid Hardpoint for map 4, and then Crossfire S&D for map 5. I kind of want to get to that map 5, Austin, if only because, when it comes to Crossfire, they're sniper rifles. Man, that's just going to be mania in the mid-map.
Sure will be. I mean, anytime we see a scope now, it just feels like we haven't seen one in so long, so we're always very happy about it. But either way, guys, let's jump right into our map.
Chalo, starting Godsent versus Loops Esports. అదే ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ వాళ్ళిద్దరికి. చాలా కష్టం బ్రో. అసలు టేక్ ఆఫ్లో హార్డ్ పాయింట్ పెడతారని నేను అసలు ఎక్స్పెక్టే చేయలేదు కాంపిటేటివ్లో. టేక్ ఆఫ్ ఫస్ట్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్ కూడా రైడ్ లానే ఉంటుంది ఆల్మోస్ట్, బట్ రైడ్కి అట్లీస్ట్ చుట్టూ నుంచోడానికి పాయింట్స్ అయినా ఉంటాయి, దీనిలో అలా కూడా ఉండదు.
In control, they're already preparing themselves for that rotation as well.
So,
Joker tries to come in for a flank,
ఫస్ట్
but that's just
హార్డ్
not gonna
పాయింట్
work.
ఈవెన్ అనే చెప్పాలి, ఎక్కువ టైం కంట్రోల్ అయితే ఎవరికి రాలేదు.
Right from the back
So,
here. We're going to see another one.
స్కిల్ సైడ్ కంట్రోల్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో
There's the cleanup. So now you're starting to see the push and
నెక్స్ట్
already thinking maybe about making your way across.
యాక్చువల్లీ
the
నాకు
map
టేక్
here.
ఆఫ్లో
The next hill could be very
హార్డ్
difficult.
పాయింట్స్ ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉంటాయో కూడా కరెక్ట్గా చెప్పలేదు.
Wells that come into it, but it is going to be God sent. Still coming out
So,
with quite a few
God
kills
sent-
here for themselves. And now 22 to about 22.
Yep. So,
very even.
almost
Actually getting deep
tied
inside.
hard first hard point.
See a ton, but
ఒక నారో 5 పాయింట్ లీడ్ అయితే తీసుకున్నారు
side of God
లూప్స్.
sent. Now they just got to hold.
నా సెకండ్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్ ఆ పైన ప్లేస్. So, గాడ్ సెంట్ మొత్తం 3 పీపుల్తో పాయింట్ డిఫెండ్ చేస్తున్నారు, కింద పొజిషన్ తీసుకున్నారు. సో పైకి పుషప్ చేయడం అనేది కొంచెం కష్టమైన విషయమే, కాకపోతే గాడ్స్ అండ్ లూప్స్ ఈ స్పోర్ట్స్ స్టిల్ మేనేజ్ చేసింది. హే బ్రో, అది అయిపోయింది బ్రో, మామూలు కామెంట్స్ పెట్టండి బ్రో. ఏ జా బ్రో. సో ఏంటి, ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తున్నారా ఈ స్పోర్ట్స్? కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎలా జరుగుతుంది,
Moving in for the next
ఏంటి విషయాలు ఇంకా?
the amount of time they've got
So,
off of it, and God sent. I mean, Joker, look at him. He's still finding kills. He's able to find 2 more and contest just
ఓకే,
a few more
ఆ
seconds
పాయింట్
inside.
నుంచి
So,
మూవ్ అయిపోయారు.
I like this play
దండం
because
పెట్టాలిరా, ఎవర్రా కెమెరా పెట్టేది?
lock down muddy hills here.
నాకు ఇవ్వండిరా, నాలాంటి వాళ్ళకి ఇస్తే కనీసం నేనైనా మంచికి పెట్టుకుంటాను.
Able to find some long range
చాలా
at the moment.
జనరల్గా పాయింట్ మ్యాన్ టు మ్యాన్ చేంజ్ అవుతుంది, కానీ పొజిషనింగ్ చూపిస్తే ఈ స్పోర్ట్స్లో జనరల్లీ ఎప్పుడు
About 9 points
మంచిగా ఉంటుంది.
overall. So they have a shot at being able to come away with a bit of a lead as long as they
ఆ
can win
పాయింట్,
this one.
ఆ టాప్ పాయింట్ ఎప్పుడైనా టేక్ ఆఫ్లో ఆడితే నార్మల్లీ అది మంచి ప్లేసే ఉండడానికి.
Kills versus Dad and Pill. There's the first one. Piln's already weak from the first shot, so Rauha should be okay to pick up this frag. At the very least, somebody has to pick up Plin, and there it is. Plin will go down. So, God sent at the moment. I think the initial push is actually paying off. That gamble to try and rotate early on for this money hill. Every single kill going their way. Loops have to start rethinking their strategy here if they want to break on in. But I tell you what's going to make it tough. It's going to be this death machine. But I tell you what, just as I talk about the death machine, well, there are kills coming in for Loops. Joker uses his as well, both shut down, and that is a massive break for Loops.
తేజ బ్రో ఏమనుకోవద్దు, ఆ వంశీ ఇస్ ప్రిఫర్డ్ బై వంశీ అనే కామెంట్ తీసేస్తున్నాను.
A couple more himself. So they come out with a huge amount of points. And
So,
maybe the scrap time go over as
నార్మల్గా మాట్లాడుకుందాం మనం.
players in, but that's going to be good cleanup. Joker
So,
to
ఇప్పుడు
find the remaining players. So going to be
ఏ పొద్దు నుంచి చాలాసేపటి నుంచి సో అని నాకు వచ్చేస్తుంది అనమాట ఊత పదంలాగా.
rotation. They come out with the time. Now we move into the next one, and a lot of the specialist has been
గాడ్
burned.
సెంట్
Still has his
స్టార్టింగ్ లో
death machine. If he
చాలా
can
లీడ్
bring it out,
తీసేసుకున్నారు,
not just yet for him, as we're gonna see
84
one
పాయింట్స్.
stop, a
బట్
couple more
హార్డ్
others.
పాయింట్ మనకు తెలిసిందే, చాలా ఫాస్ట్గా స్విచ్ అయిపోతుంది లీడ్.
To see Loops Esports, they find themselves now with the early
Loops.
setup, and they might be able to come back here and close this lead.
ఇది కంట్రోల్, ఈ పాయింట్ లూప్స్ కంట్రోల్లో ఉన్నట్టు ఉంది. ఓకే, మనకి స్పానిష్ అసలు అర్థం కాదు, సో వాళ్ళైతే ఏదో మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నారు, మనం అయితే చెప్పలేము వెంటనే. ఇది బాగుంది, అట్లీస్ట్ వాళ్ళు ఏం మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నారో వినొచ్చు. ఒకవేళ ఇంగ్లీషో హిందీ అయితే మనం కూడా అర్థం చేసుకుని వాళ్ళు ఏం మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నారో టాక్టిక్స్ తెలుసుకోవచ్చు.
Dois âncoras em passarela. Estamos para trabalhar com a ponte já.
Âncora, peguei. Verdade, tu TR. Percussão.
రైట్, ఐ థింక్ ఒక ఫుల్ రౌండ్ అయిపోయినట్టుంది, మళ్ళీ ఫస్ట్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్కి వస్తుంది. ఒక ఫుల్ రౌండ్ తర్వాత గాడ్స్ అండ్ 104 పాయింట్స్తో లీడ్లో ఉంది. సో గాడ్ లూప్స్
Very much so. I mean, it's really coming down
ఆ ఫస్ట్ హార్డ్ పాయింట్లో లూప్స్ ప్లేయర్ ఒకళ్ళు ఉన్నారు, సపోర్ట్ అయితే వచ్చినట్టు కనిపించలేదు.
more hill. You're going to very likely
సో బ్యాక్ టు గాడ్స్ అండ్ అగైన్ ఆ పాయింట్ గాడ్స్ అండ్ కంట్రోల్లోకి మళ్ళీ వచ్చింది.
sports. I mean, they really need
సో సెంటర్లో ఉన్నా సరే
keep God's
కంట్రోల్లో పెట్టుకోగలుగుతున్నారు ఆ పాయింట్ని.
feed is saying otherwise, isn't it? They are just slaying around the map. They're starting to get a lot of the roamers here just moving through multiple angles, so the team push can never really
Okay.
effectively come into break. And I mean, this game could still
Oh.
end with us on P1, pending they can keep
Nice.
numbers here. But finally, Loops Esports, they're going to clean up a
సో
couple,
లూప్స్
they're gonna get a touch.
క్లీనప్ చేసి లోపలికి అయితే వచ్చారు. గాడ్స్ అండ్ అయితే కంటిన్యూస్ కంటెస్ట్ చేసి ఆ పాయింట్ కూడా మళ్ళీ వెనక్కి కూడా తీసేసుకున్నారు. నౌ ఎట్ 130. ఈ పాయింట్లో మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ గేమ్ కంప్లీట్ అవ్వకపోవచ్చు, 10 సెకండ్స్ మిగిలింది కాబట్టి. బట్ నెక్స్ట్ పాయింట్లో సెంట్రీ అంతా ఆల్రెడీ రెడీగా ఉన్నారు. సో చాలా కష్టము ఈ పాయింట్లోకి వెనక్కి వెళ్ళడం అనేది. ఆ లాక్ అవ్వగానే స్టెప్ ఇన్ చేయడం మాత్రమే మిగిలింది. సో దే క్విక్లీ గాట్ దాట్ విత్ ఆ గ్రావిటీ స్పైక్తో దాన్ని తీసి ఈ పాయింట్ కంట్రోల్ అయితే తీసుకోగలిగారు. ఎంతసేపు ఆపుతారు అనేది చూడాలన్నమాట. సో ఎక్కువసేపు ఆపగలిగితే ఉంటారు. దే ట్రై చేశారు పాపం, చాలా ఆ పాయింట్ మొత్తం హోల్డ్ చేయడానికి హోల్డ్ చేయలేకపోయారు. సో గాడ్ సెంట్ ఆ ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ని ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ అయితే గెలిచారు.
Unable to finish it off in the end. Just too much damage done there, I think, when they went to that rotation.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the benefit of having the close spawn, right? When you're talking about those B2s and those B3s, it just felt like, there was just a better understanding there for the side of Godsend, knowing where they had to be at the right time to make sure that they were always going to have the close spawn. So even if they do lose, the initial setup, they can still funnel their numbers in very closely with the team push to be able to break through overall. So a very nice job out of Godsend, just really focusing on the crucial hills, pulling out the specialists, investing, the actual streaks at the right time. So very nicely done for them.
Yep, let's take a look at our Xperia rewind time record here as we look over towards the replays for this map, and this is the one, really, isn't it? So we're actually going to get to see, we're going to count it up, how many kills he actually does get. It is 4, I believe, unless that last kill does get taken away, which I believe might actually have grabbed that one, but still, it was a superb effort. You really do just have to say that much. A great effort overall from Araujo there towards the end. Let's take a look then at the map set now for this series to see how that affects it. Of course, it is going to mean it's going to be
నాకు స్ట్రీమ్లో ఇంకా ఒక వ్యూవర్ ఉన్నట్టు చూపిస్తుంది. ఎవరైనా జాయిన్ అయితే కామెంట్ చేయండి ప్లీజ్.
One of my favorite, I mean, it is actually maybe controversially so, my favorite map mode combination of all time ever. Trademark it. Standoff, search and destroy. Really excited to get into this one, Austin.
It's a great map. It is a great map overall, and yeah, the scopes are going to be coming out for sure. I've already gotten to cast over a little bit of standoff here on the COD Mobile side of things, and you have a lot more time to play with. I think that's really like the biggest factor. When we're used to about 1:30, you have a total of 2 minutes to get that bomb down, which means that you really do need strong sniper players, especially when you're thinking even ahead of this tournament. You're thinking about going up against the World Championship teams, like some of the best S&D teams in the world here at COD Mobile. Have the best sniper players, and it is that simple. So you have to be able to match that. You have to be able to find these picks. That's what opens up a lot of these sites, especially on the attack. And we've already gotten to see quite a few highlight plays on the day. That is for sure. So when we're talking about standoff here for us, Brody, having a total of 2 minutes, looking for picks, I mean, this is really what it comes down to when you're looking at trying to find yourself a map and a bounce back, especially if you're Loops Esports here after losing that map number 1. You want to be able to tie things up heading in towards map 3.
Yeah, really excited to see how this standoff search and destroy does go. I mean, the first couple of series of the day, I think, when it came to Cygnus, they kind of rolled through RWR, right? And really for Influence Rage and their opposition. It was a close one. Influence Rage definitely came out, but they just couldn't end up winning there off the back of that series. So I want to see a Game 5 series here between these two teams.
తేజ బ్రో, మీరే నా స్ట్రీమ్ చూస్తుంది ఇంకా ఎవరైనా కొత్తగా జాయిన్ అయితే కామెంట్ చేయండి.
Let's jump into map number 2 now. It's time for some standoff, Austin.
Yeah, time for some standoff, and it's even like a lot of the old line of sights that we used to have in Black Ops 2 as well. Like we look at the
తేజ బ్రో, ఒకవేళ మీరే అన్నాక సరే కామెంట్ చేయండి.
and looked at beam people off of the back barrel where it's kind of blocked in Cold War. It's not really, easy to use per se. So we'll see what happens. And already we're seeing the scopes, we're seeing the sniper play, so we're getting excited. And
Okay, second game and between Loops and Godsend. Loops defend చేస్తున్నారు ఈ గేమ్ లో. So first game hard point takeoff కదా? Yeah, takeoff గెలిచారు. Loops బ్యాక్ ఫుట్ లో స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. ప్లాంట్ కూడా అయిపోయింది. వాళ్ళు ఆల్రెడీ ఒక ప్లేయర్ అయితే పోగొట్టుకున్నారు. So they're 4v3. They've been ఒక
And this is actually a pretty good retake as far as Loops are concerned. They're getting all these frags in, but they don't have much time left.
godsend
Time. And the 4v4
desperately trying to sorry
the moment and
defender defender
not gonna be able to find all the shots.
in the sense loops desperate గా ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి
We'll get a response.
పంప్ తీయడానికి 9 సెకండ్ సర్వైవ్ అయితే చాలు.
Get on the bomb though. That's the biggest factor. We'll see if they can keep it clean. That will be a trade. And that will be the
Oh.
defuse. Very nice.
మేనేజ్ చేశారు డిఫ్యూజ్ చేయడానికి.
Get there in the
Wow.
nick of time and they will be able to find their very
ఆల్మోస్ట్ లాస్ట్ సెకండ్ డిఫ్యూజ్.
I gotta say, I was really concerned.
వాళ్ళ మైండ్లో ఏం రన్ అవుతుంది లేదా వాళ్ళు ఎంత టెన్షన్ పడుతున్నారో తెలుసుకోవాలి ఆ టైంలో.
At least in the past competitive Call of Duty this season that you and I have casted, Austin, it isn't the best thing in the world to let happen. But Loopsy Sport with an immediate response, brilliantly done from them. And now we get to see what Godsent are able to do on the offense here. Once again, bomb in hand for Noel.
నా వాయిస్ లోగా వస్తుందా?
He seems to want to take this one towards B. You've got to be careful though, because you look at that Loop presence over towards
అసలు నేను మాట్లాడేది వినిపిస్తుందా?
it's pretty heavy.
ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్.
Will they decide to drop it? It looks like this time
వినిపించకపోతే వినిపిస్తుందని చెప్పలేరు కదా.
come through before they call their
చెప్తాం.
player
యా మ్యూట్లో అయితే లేను, వాల్యూమ్ కూడా ఫుల్గా ఉంది, యూట్యూబ్ వాల్యూమ్ తక్కువ ఉంది. సో
for the exact
మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ నేను ఎంత స్లోగా మాట్లాడితే అంత స్లోగా వినిపించవచ్చు, కానీ వినిపిస్తుంది.
here now as you got 40 seconds to start playing for this retake in Loops Esports. They're going to start to make
ఓకే
the middle of the map, but they're going to lose one and there's a quick trade.
Flynn. Oh, he does actually see that player there, I believe, but can't get the frag off. Looking for some more now with this very snazzy sniper rifle. And now 20 seconds on the clock for these two players in the mid-map. That's a nice kill from Flynn. Now looking for some more. Loops have done a good retake in the last round. Can they do it once again here? Dermak actually being able to bring this down now to a 2 versus 4. It is literally just Joker left. He's able to get one before falling. Well enough time for this defuse to come in for Flynn. And of course they're going to give it to Flynn here. He just had a monster round.
And I mean, there's nothing really different there from Loops Esports, is there? I mean, they just essentially do the same retake. They're not worried about coming through the front. They'll keep one player there while all the chaos starts to unravel through the middle of the map, and they essentially just do the same retake. This time are a little bit faster, actually. They get to the bomb quicker, and it just felt like there was maybe a miscommunication potentially there, for the side of Godsend, as no one was watching L-Wall. So are they going to continue to go for this A plan? It looks like they maybe are calling for a different route. They have player 4 here that's going to be responsible for watching the back alley. That was Joker. And now it's kind of just back and forth. They're really hesitant on what they want to do, but it looks like they are going to get a trophy set up. They're going to bring the bomb over again. But the big question here, Brody, is what are they going to do different once they get the bomb down?
That's going to be the question, isn't it? No, we'll get this bomb down. Now it's about defending it. It's something that they haven't been able to do in the last couple of rounds. You've got to do something different here, surely. I suppose there's not really much you can do when the bomb buster himself, Flynn, comes in and does what he does best. Can he get it done here in this round? Has the help of Pedro in from behind. Look at this wave of Loopsy Sports players coming in. The shorty in hand for Mihawk. He's able to get one, switches away for the second kill though. It is immediately traded on out. Now here's the problem for Loopsy Sports. Do they have the time, the pressure to build up here? Null comes in from behind. Do they win with another one as well? Every single kill goes Godsent's way, and this time they do not let up.
Yeah, this was a lot better. I mean, they get the rounds, and they just really stop that entire wall of blue that you saw coming in there from their side of the map into the site. So it was a little bit one-dimensional, and I think it was just a little too easy for the side of Godsent to be able to lock that down, and they do so successfully. But into round 4, early gunfights in Courtyard. We're going to see a lot of shots come through, but there's the pinch. Neox able to come away with 2 for himself, and he has not been traded as of just yet. So a very nice opening round for Godsent to create an early numbers advantage.
Godsent still going to get this bomb somewhere. Flynn with the sniper rifle has been a real threat so far in this game. Only 2 frags to his name though at the moment. Just needs to follow through. He actually needs to survive here as well. If you kind of look at where ACR and Dad are on the map, if Flynn can do some damage here, it would be huge. Can he get it done? Sniper rifle through the fence. There's no way. Oh, he gets pushed too far. That's really some Call of Duty time in there. Looks away at the wrong time. Mihawk comes in. And now this should be an easy plant for Godsent.
Could be the case. 1 versus 4. I mean, You need a lot here of that to get the job done. Can he read the second player right behind him? Oh, if he does, then maybe there's a shot at pulling off a 1v4, but Mihawk's not going to find, or not going to allow that rather, as he brings home the last kill, and that round just comes down to Mihawk just opening up the middle of the courtyard with the two-piece, right? You trade an early numbers advantage. Godsent just able to work over towards that A site a little later in towards the round here, so they're changing up their strategy a tad bit, looking for some aggressive routes. Now they have a chance to do so again on their very last attacking round, but this one is going to be all force right into the A site, maybe for another quick plant.
Question is how to lose as well to this. The last couple of rounds, Godsent have been great at holding on. They do not have elbow control though at the moment. That's going to be huge because Plin going to give it up actually. I'm a little bit surprised he does that. He moves all the way over towards courtyard. You can kind of see it on your minimap there that Plin does that. And it might be because of the fact he's actually going to go for a reposition all the way in from the flank. He gets the shot off, but it's actually going to be a good sniff out from Dudu and Mihawk to recognize what is happening. Gunfight's on the point though, and it's going to be Dermac coming up top.
All right, so 4v4, and you only got a good 20 seconds left here, but Plin's able to find the snipe on a 1. Godsent now, no longer having all the numbers they once had, but you're getting low on time. You got to move in, you got to find the defuse. They're going to stack the bomb, 3v2. Joker able to come up with 1. Mihawk from behind finds the kill, and now I don't think there's any time to get that defuse off. There's the push. Sure, you'll find the kill, but the bomb's gonna blow. Plin will drop, and what was a very rough start to this S&D here, Brody, will now be 3 rounds in a row for Godsent to take the lead as we switch the sides.
Yeah, this has been a crazy comeback in from Godsent. They've absolutely stepped up to the plate. I mean, they've really struggled on the offense there to hold on for the last 3 rounds. They're able to get it done, and now we switch over to Loops Esports with the bomb in hand. Where do they want to take this one? Godsent have 1 player already on A on the bomb site itself. They've got 3 players overall on the site as it stands. So I guess the best bet here, Austin, would go towards B.
Definitely would be. I mean, Mihawk would have to get some kind of a sound cue back alley, or would maybe have to start bouncing between both, and you can kind of see his arrow moving inside of yellow, where he's wondering if players maybe are pushing through. So now he's going to get additional support there from Joker, just to make sure nothing is happening. And I like this. I mean, you're buying a lot of time, you're using a lot of the clock, but now they're going to try and make the move. It's going to be on Mihawk. Is he going to read the plant? He peeps out, and well, that's a shot and a half, isn't it? Blinn just says, I got your back, finds the kill. The bomb won't be dropped at B, but this is going to start to make everyone move on the map.
Loops Esports, they're playing this one pretty closely. They didn't get that bomb down. Not just yet, so time now running out to do so, but they're going to reposition here, actually. They want a piece of the A pike. Won't get it just yet here as they reposition towards that B. The big problem is you have to get rid of Araujo, because look at the amount of damage he has done at the moment. He's shooting air at the moment for some reason, but now bomb going down at B. Araujo lets his guard up.
Right, how do you play the retake now? And you only have 3 members to really do it here on Godsent. There's a lot of control. That's the biggest factor. It's just going to be so difficult to start to move in, but we'll see how they do it. Joker would have to maybe find a big pick. Arho just going to go for a bit of a wall bang here inside of yellow, and there's going to be one back alley, and there's the peak. Dad just waiting for the call out. Loops Esports, they should have this round all wrapped up. And